All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of David's Saturday Night Sit Back, where tonight we are sitting back to explore diverse ventures with Sutton South's journey from a business grad to what he was a water treatment technician, but he got a new job after I wrote these notes. Sutton South is a Texas State University graduate in business with a focus on marketing. You have navigated a diverse career path, at least according to your LinkedIn. You had some roles such as a dock master, so you've done a little bit of day trading, maybe worked in mortgage. You were a logistics professional for a little bit. Sutton and I met in the gym, and we've had several very enjoyable conversations, and I wanted to have you on the show just because I think you're a fun, kind, interesting guy. If you want to go check out Sutton's Instagram page, he has a lot of funny limericks, like how many vibes could a vibe check if a vibe check could check vibes. And yeah, he stuff like that. You're just a funny guy. So go check out his page. And welcome to your episode of DSNSB.
Thanks, David. I'm glad to be here.
Do you remember writing that?
That was a while ago, but yes, when you brought it up, yep, immediately clicked.
You were like, yep, I did write that.
Yep, that was me.
So this intro was written by ChatGPT. So what I did was I took your information, like your job titles off LinkedIn and a couple other comments, and then I dropped it in there. I was like, optimize this for SEO, and that's what it spit out.
Okay.
What do you think?
mean, not bad. Honestly, caught me off guard. I was like, you went to my LinkedIn?
Yeah.
I do not go on LinkedIn anymore.
I research all my guests, even ones who are just not just, because friends are important, but I especially am going to research a friend before they come on.
Of course, as you should.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I went on your LinkedIn, and were all the jobs right? Did you do all those things?
Yeah, I did.
That's cool.
It went all the way back to dock master, which I did in like college during the summer. So,
What's a dock master do?
it's really just like a dock hand. It's the person that, whenever a boat pulls up to the dock, you're just kind of responsible for greeting the customer and tying their boat up. It's a very like easy, lax summer job.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's fun.
It sounds important because it has the word master in it. Like you're in charge of all these ships and like.
That's the point. I'm trying to upsell everything on LinkedIn. if I'm putting something on LinkedIn, I'm trying to make it sound as professional as possible.
I'm gonna have AI redo my LinkedIn.
Honestly, might not be a bad idea.
You know what? Actually, I'm gonna take my about me section tonight and drop it in there and just see what it does.
Yeah.
Because it's But anyways, we'll talk about ChatGPT later in terms of we'll bring it up later. Cheers, by the way. Welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you for having me.
Be honest. How is it?
It's good.
Yes.
It's smooth.
It's not because of how I made it. It's because it's shout out to Still Austin. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, it's their rye whiskey.
Yeah.
And the guy said it was the best one in the store for old fashions. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
You went clay shooting this weekend.
I did.
Oh, I guess we're cursing.
Yep. No,
so much for the 10-minute
so
rule.
much for the 10-minute mark. That's fine. Yeah, I went to Capital City Clays. It's kind of out towards Manor. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I don't care. I don't go out there very often. But yeah, I ran through 100 shells, and I gotta say my shoulder hurts. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I have a bruise on my cheek.
Completely honest, I didn't notice.
Yeah, it hurts a little bit.
How'd you get it?
Just the butt of the gun, just hitting my cheek. You know?
I've never been clay shooting, so
You should give it a shot. It's fun.
I'm down.
I did pretty decent on the more beginner part of the course. And then when we walked over to the competition area, that's when I realized I am not built like that. I am not very good. So, yeah, I'd like to practice and get better at that because it is really fun, but it's way more fun when you can actually hit the clays.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you've never tried that before, I would definitely recommend it. Do you have a shotgun?
No, but now that I live in Texas, I want to start buying guns.
Yeah.
Me and the Hog Squad, which is 3 of my buddies that we did an earlier episode together. We made a commitment to each other that before my birthday, which is on July 30th, we would all get guns and go hog shooting.
Yeah,
You can come if you want.
No, that'd be super fun. Definitely let me know.
And one of them's a chef, so he's even gonna like cook the thing for us.
Okay. Yeah, hogs need to be eradicated regardless. They're,
Why do you say that?
they're an invasive species. That's like why like people on ranches, if they don't do it themselves, they'll literally pay people to come out and just kill hogs.
Yeah, well, and that's why one of them brought it up, it proposed the idea, because he's like, we don't even have to pay for this. Like, we'll get paid. And even if it's not a ton of money, the fact that we can go do a fun activity and get paid is like a win-win.
Yeah. And I mean, that's one thing sometime in the near future, if for like a bachelor party idea, I'd like to go. I don't know if you've ever seen the videos of those people riding in helicopters over a field of just hogs running and just absolutely unloading on them. That would be ideal. I would like to do that. I'd like to take some buddies and just go mow down some hogs.
Who would you take?
The groomsman.
Well, well, yeah, but
To be determined. I don't know if all of them cannot fit in one helicopter. That's going to be a hard decision. Definitely my dad. My dad would love to do that. But
let's say it could fit 4 people. Do you have a guess at who one of the others might be?
don't do this to me right now.
Okay.
I cannot decide now.
I'm not like asking you to declare who you best friends are in front of millions of people.
Yeah,
we only have thousands right now.
I got a couple of people in mind though off the dome. So.
Okay, at least you have there's people circulating. It's not like you're here thinking, well, I got no friends, so it'll just be me and Pops and maybe David.
Yeah, I hope PETA doesn't listen to your podcast because they'll probably hate that.
Sorry, Thad. Now is not an ideal time for squeaky toy usage, but that's a stress bone. He usually chews on that one.
Yeah, he's been putting in some work on it.
He's been doing some reps.
That's how my dog is. Every like plastic toy you get him, within a day it just looks like that.
That's one thing I like about this one is that's a 2-year project right there.
Are they like safe to swallow? Because I know you can get some where if they end up swallowing it, it's kind of okay. It's not bad for them.
I'm going to assume with yes, based off the fact that the thought that went through my head is, why would a dog manufacturer make a toy that would be unsafe to swallow?
Yeah.
But also, dude, look at this guy. Look at that.
He's very determined.
Sorry, I'm more determined to not have squeaks on my pod.
He's just going to be struggling for the next hour or
He
so.
he won't be able to get in the sink.
Yeah.
I'd be very impressed if he was somehow able to finagle himself in there.
We'd have to pause the pod and like give him a high five or something.
Give him a CBD pill. Put him in his crate.
Oh, you do that?
Only if I'm gonna be. So on Sunday, for example, I needed to leave for about 8 hours, and that's a really long time for me to be gone.
Yeah.
So I always put a podcast on the TV, and
course.
I give him a CBD gummy. So he gets high like once a month, probably.
Cool.
Yeah.
Those work pretty well on dogs, is what I've heard.
Do you give him to Chewy?
No, I just kind of let him ride it out.
Does he get anxious if he's home alone?
No, not really. Every time I get back, he's just laying in his bed. He's very excited to see me though, so he's probably been waiting for a minute. But I've never really thought about doing that. So
Go ahead.
might be something to consider, I guess.
The best part of my day is getting home
Yeah.
because because he's so dang excited.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you.
We've been doing this new thing recently where I always close these blinds when I leave because I don't want people to see this and be like, oh, let's break into that home.
Yeah, look at all the lights.
Well, the lights aren't on. It's more of 2 mics, 3 different computer-like devices.
Yeah.
2 lights. I would just a camera. Like I'd be devastated. I would hire the 4 ex-military guys I've had on the show to hunt that person down. So if that's any motivation to not take my stuff, there is that.
Yep. You hear that?
Just go spend the $1,200 on your own shit. But Oh, so I close these windows so he has no idea when I'm walking up. And what I'll do is I'll unlock the door from this side and then push it all the way open, but then take a step back and sort of hide next to this wall. And he'll just come creeping up ever so slowly. And then he'll finally stick that little head out the door, that head that takes up all of 3% of his body. And dude, as soon as he sees it's me, he just goes apeshit and literally starts jumping into the air, tail wagging, running around in circles. It's so funny.
Yeah, he's kind of a chunk. He's like, I'm just saying, I could categorize this dog with a shape, and that'd be an oval, like a long one.
And you know what's funny? He doesn't even eat that much. He eats 3/4 of a cup of breakfast and 3/4 of a cup at night. We go on 2 30-minute walks in this fucking forest every day. I have been feeding him ice cream lately. It's dog ice cream. It's not like Ben and Jerry's.
They make dog ice cream?
You want to bring one home to Chewy?
Oh, let me think about it.
You want to see one?
He needs to eat his regular food, but yes, I would like to see one. 2024 continues to amaze me.
Oh, shit.
Dogsters, ice cream style treats for dogs. Interesting.
We can give him that. That way it doesn't squeak.
That's true. I'll let you do the honors.
Hey, Thad, you want a treat? Let's put it in the kitchen, though. Here you go. Come here. Yeah, go ahead. You don't want this part. It's... He's not smart.
I love dogs.
I do, too. What were we even talking about?
I don't even remember. Anyways, are you a cat person at all?
No, but he was a rescue. And the first 3 to 6 months were hell.
Yeah.
Of just him
Like adjusting?
tearing up carpet, chewing through the door. I did not get a penny back on the deposit in that apartment. So while I love him to death, and also just like the getting him crate trained, but even just little stuff, man. Like when I'd go to the gym and come home, he'd be super sad. Like now he's excited to see me. I'd get home and he'd be shaking, like his whole body would be shaking and his tail would be in between his legs, and he'll have like pissed at 4 different spots throughout the apartment. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking traumatizing this poor dog while I'm also just trying to provide a home for him. So I think after Thad, unfortunately, when the day comes that he passes, I would either need to get a puppy, like brand new, and not a foster who's going to be super anxious, or I would probably get a cat because I do very much like having an animal in the home.
Yeah. Do you think maybe it was an adjustment period for him, and he possibly had some sort of PTSD or trauma from being left by himself in the past, and every time you left, it kind of just came back to him, and it just took him a while to adjust before he realized, like, okay, he's gone, but he's going to come back.
I think that's exactly what happened, especially because he went from being on the street to dropped off at a shelter, and then he was fostered by a family for 70 days, and they brought him back. And you ready for the reason why they brought him back?
Was it that period where he just wasn't acclimated yet?
I think so. They described him as too high maintenance.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess.
But look at this dude.
Yeah.
As you watch him tonight, after he's done with this ice cream, you know what he's going to do? He's going to lay down right there next to you, and he's going to sleep. My high maintenance dog.
Yeah.
That's why I feed him a lot. Fat people can't do much. That was terrible.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. We're not fat phobes.
We're not. I don't think we have a large obese population listening to the show, but
Even if you did, I wouldn't care. Psych, I'm a fat. I'm just kidding. I can't go on the internet saying that kind of stuff.
you can say whatever you want. It's 2024.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get canceled.
You're trying to get dirty. What brand is this?
This is a shirt from the Dirty Bill's bar on East 6.
Oh, fuck
Or
yeah.
no, West 6, sorry.
I haven't heard of that yet.
Good. I don't recommend going there. It's pretty dirty.
You're promoting them.
I mean, right after you asked me to clarify what this means, sure. But I mean, yeah, it like says the address on here.
511 Rio Grande.
Yeah, I did not pay for this shirt. It just came upon me.
All right. Before we get into potentially a subject that you weren't expecting, that's right, clay shooting. I would like to go. Do you have to own a gun, or do they provide it? Or either way.
I don't know. Since I have one, I took my dad's over under. I didn't want to take mine. It's a pump, but I did not check if they provided rentals there. I would expect, or at least assume, that it would say so on their website whether or not they provide rentals. And if I'm correct, I could be wrong because I haven't rented a gun, honestly, I think ever. But all they do is take a copy of like your driver's license or something while you're there, and that's it.
All right.
Just make sure you're not like a criminal. They're not letting a criminal borrow their guns.
I'm not a criminal. I'm a good person.
I'm glad to hear it.
Well, if they're not, could criminals also be good people? No.
I mean,
depends what the crime is. Well, this actually came up today. My boss was sort of joking for my day job, was joking, or not really joking, but just sort of observing the fact that he sees the results of all the background checks we do. Mm-hmm. And to give you some context, we hire probably 2,000 plus people a year, give or take. It's a big number for us. And he's like, it just blows my mind that like 80 to 90% of these people have DUIs.
Really?
He's like, I thought it'd be every now and then we'd get someone, and we still hire them. It came up because a lady called me today before signing her offer, and she asked if it'd be a big deal. I was like, honestly, we don't care. That's not what we're looking for. So we see it, but no one will say anything to you. So just pretend like no one even knows it's there. And she's like, all right, cool. But yeah, he's like, the majority of our candidates that accept offers have at least one DUI, if not more.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what they're really looking for is like because the DUI is technically a misdemeanor. It's not a felony. So I guess they're mainly looking for felonies like aggravated assault, murder,
Yeah,
those types of things.
Maybe theft.
Yeah.
Broke into a podcast studio, stole the equipment.
I don't know. I don't know all that legal stuff too well off the top of my head, but I mean, I would assume companies are just looking for stuff where it's like a hard no.
Do you have a DUI?
I have a charge.
What's that mean?
It means I haven't been convicted yet.
Was this recent?
October.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It was my fault.
Well, yeah, but it sucks. So is it going to get thrown out the window? What's going to happen?
Well, I did not blow on a no refusal weekend. It's Labor Day weekend. So they immediately arrest you if you refuse to blow on a no refusal. And they took my blood immediately when I got to the jail. So I'm still waiting to hear back what my blood alcohol content was. I have not.
It's taking them forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just how it goes. But
you think they do that on purpose to like stress you out a little bit as like a weird form of psychological punishment?
No, because if anything, dude, like some people would. I feel like after a certain amount of time, like I haven't forgotten about it. Obviously, it happened to me, but I feel like some people would just kind of forget. Like I haven't even gotten a letter in the mail for my court date yet. But yeah, I'm not very proud of that. I was very polite and respectful to the officer, though. It's just, shit happens.
Did you have to like stay the night in jail or something?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was very cold. I was in there with like 4 other dudes. It's all concrete. I did not sleep because it was so cold.
Did you even try to sleep, or did you just sit there and like?
Yeah,
you did.
I tried to sleep. I had to I put myself in the fetal position to try to warm up to sleep. It was not working.
Did you have any pillows or anything?
No, nothing.
So you're just like on a concrete floor? Or is there like a bench built into the?
Yeah, there's a bench, but there was some douchebag in there with his dirty ass feet that was taking up the whole bench, and I didn't want to sit next to that, so I slept on the floor, or I attempted to. But gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, I mean, not my best moment. Honestly, probably my biggest mistake in life. But yeah, I mean, drove like less than a mile, got pulled over, got arrested, went to jail.
I don't know if there's any validity to this, but I heard really recently from someone that they think that Texas cops specifically, like, if you've even had a beer, like I've been pulled over, for example, in my hometown in California, and they've asked me if I drank, and I said yes. What did you drink, and what did you eat today? And I'll go through all the things, and then they're like, all right, it was one beer. You've had 3 full meals. Like, be safe and go home. But I've heard in Texas, if you admit to that, you like they're gonna take you in no matter what. Do you know if that's true or not? You ever done any Google searches or asked a cop?
No, I have not asked an officer that or Googled it. I've really Googled like the more like important matters. Like the morning after when I got out, I was Googling like, is my life over?
Really?
What's gonna happen if are people gonna hire me? Yeah, man, I was freaking out. I was like, dude, this is probably my worst mistake I've ever made, and I do not want it to ruin my entire life, you know. So, but I mean, good things are that no one was hurt. I wasn't hurt. My car wasn't damaged at all. It was honestly probably like the cleanest DUI arrest ever. But yeah, I mean, just something I'm not proud of, but I'll have to. I'm paying the price for it financially. So.
Well, sorry to start us off on that note. Obviously, I had no idea that you had one, and so I wasn't fishing for this. It just sort of came up through natural digression.
Yeah, not
one of my questions. I promise is not, did you get a DUI?
Yeah, not something I just go out of my way and tell people for sure. But if you since you asked, I was like, I'm a pretty bad liar. I'm like not good at it at all. I was like.
Well, if it makes you feel better, and what I'm about to say, I
100%
mean, and I'm not bullshitting or anything. I don't think any less of you.
You know,
you're my friend,
that does make me feel good because I was at a wedding, not this past weekend. Actually, yeah, this past weekend. Well, not like yesterday, but the other one.
Sure.
I'm
with you. I'm smelling what you're stepping in.
And one of my buddies that I went to school with, who was in our fraternity, he's an officer in New Braunfels as well. That's where it happened, in New Braunfels, so it wasn't in Travis County. And I asked him, I was like, did you hear about that? And he told me, yeah. But he did also emphasize that he doesn't think any less of me, just because he's known me for a while and stuff, knows my character and everything. So it is... it's very reassuring, and it does make me feel good to hear that, because personally, I feel like I made like a terrible mistake, which obviously I did, but also, I mean, I did think like a little less of myself in the moment, was probably getting in my head a little too much, thinking like, oh my God, my life is over. What am I going to do now? But so it does make me feel very good to hear that, you know, hey, listen, man, that sucks that it happened to you, but you're still a homie.
I'm just glad you're here.
Yeah, no, me too.
And we were talking about this before we got on mic, that sometimes we hear something about someone we don't know at all. And in this example, it'd be like, oh, that guy got a DUI. And we might, as humans, start to make these assumptions about your character. In this case, I know you, and I know that you're already beating yourself up about it. So there's no reason for me to beat you up more. I'd rather just be a place of support where if you ever want to vent about it or anything, you know, you can come do so. But we were talking about how we will sometimes tell ourselves stories about like what that person was going through and maybe what led up to that moment of weakness, because I just completely lost my train of thought.
No,
just to say that we don't... I think it's good to not assume the worst about someone, because in that case they might hear, oh, Sutton had a DUI, he must be a bad person. But you're not. You're not a bad person at all. You're a good person. You're kind. You're funny. You're interesting. You wouldn't be here if you weren't these things.
Yeah.
Here is in my house recording. So I will wrap this up by telling you a funny story.
Okay.
about DUIs.
Let's hear it.
So there's this guy named John at the last place I lived, and John was always working on his car, and he was pretty jacked. And whenever I was taking out the trash or grabbing the mail, we would just talk for a couple minutes. I'd say hi, and we'd talk about his car, his motorcycle, Thad, whatever was on top of mine that day. And after 8 or 9 conversations, I was like, "Hey man, do you ever want to come to my gym and work out with me?" And he's like, "Dude, I can't." And he just lifts up his leg and he has an ankle monitor on. And I said, "Oh, no, John, what did you do?" And he's like, "Fuck, man. I got 4 DUIs." And I was like, "Well, how'd you get the 4th one? What was the most recent one?" He's like, "Well, the 4th one wasn't a DUI. I was driving with a suspended license and got pulled over for speeding. So as soon as they saw my license had already been revoked, house arrest for 24 days was the next step." It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. A good
4.
Yeah,
John, we need to get you into more gyms and less bars. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, 4.
Don't get to 4.
I don't understand how, like, even just after the first one, dude, you're not like, all right, I need to never go through that again. Because it's going to take, I mean, if convicted, it's going to take, like, I don't know, 7 to, 10 years for it to come off your record anyways. I don't know what getting more than one would do, but I know it's not good.
After we hit record, maybe we'll Google what happens when you get 4 DUIs.
Yeah, Jamie.
And Google just says your life
Jamie,
is...
pull that up.
I wish I had a Jamie. That'd be so sick. I will one day, and I even already know who it is. His name's Nick Lovin.
Nick Lovin?
Yeah.
That's insane. I have a McLovin ID in my... Oh, wait, no, I don't. Not anymore. Actually, yes, I do. I still have this.
Let me see. Oh, well, sorry. Nick is an N. N-I-C-K, Lovin. But this is dangerously close.
Have you seen that movie?
Yes.
Superbad?
Yes, one time when it first came out in theaters.
Okay.
I don't remember it very well.
You haven't seen it since?
No.
I'm telling you right now, if you rewatch that, this is like rewatching Step Brothers after not seeing it for 3 or 4 years. You're going to laugh your ass off.
All right.
It's... I'm actually super excited for you and very jealous. I would give anything to feel what it felt like to see Superbad and Step Brothers, even like 21 Jump Street, all those movies for the first time again because they were so fucking funny.
I have a funny story about Step Brothers too. I had a roommate who...
Wait, 2? Step Brothers 2?
So, T-O-O.
Oh.
Isn't like, I had a funny story about DUIs, and now I have a funny story about Step Brothers.
Continue.
I had a roommate who he forced me to watch that movie with him about once a month. And the first time we watched it was because I'd never seen it. So we had just moved in, and it came up in conversation over dinner or something. He's like, "Let's watch it." Laugh my ass off. But then 3 weeks later, he's like, "You want to watch Step Brothers?" And this was only my second time seeing it. So I was like, "Sure." By the time we got to the end of that 1-year lease, we had watched that movie 15 times. And if I never see it again, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, it's burnout. You can't burn out of those movies. You're just doing yourself a disservice.
But it was his default. He'd get home from work, and we both had gone to the gym already. He's like, what are you watching tonight?" "I don't know yet, man." He's like, "Oh, Step Brothers." It's like, Eli, no. We need a break. We need a detox.
Did he smoke at all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, that makes perfect sense.
I think he cleaned up a little bit because he has a kid and a wife now, but actually, it was funny because I couldn't make his wedding, and my buddy... I won't say his name. One of my friends that went to the wedding texted me, and he's like, "Dude, did you know that Eli's super Christian now, and this is a dry wedding?" And I was like, "What do you mean a dry wedding? I'd never heard that term before." And he's like, we brought a fifth of vodka with us or something, and my wife is hiding it in her purse because they're not doing any drinking here because he's super Christian now." I was
Huh. That sounds like a ceremony I'd skip.
Right. I was so glad I wasn't there, to be honest. And I'm 99% sure he doesn't watch this podcast, so I don't feel bad saying that. And even if he did, I'm fine with him hearing that so that he knows what his friends are thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be there to watch them get married for sure.
Sure.
Then after that,
I might get a plate of food first.
I'm going to go Uber to downtown.
It depends what the food is. If there's a free steak in it,
that's true.
I would stick around for that. Yeah,
that's true.
But then I'm bouncing pretty quick. I just thought it was so funny, the image of the. Well, he said he was like, yeah, we walked into the what's the post ceremony thing called, the party. Well, not for them,
The
but
reception.
yeah. He's like, we walked into the reception and we were like, hey, and they had the bottle in one hand, and then they walked over to the drink table to set it down, and there's just like tea and lemonade and water, and both of them, him, my buddy and his wife, were just like, they were like lifted up the tablecloth to see if maybe all the booze is being hidden. Just nothing.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm sorry to hear your friend went Christian.
No. That's not what I was saying at all. Don't put words in my mouth.
I'm sorry. I don't want you to regret coming on here. I want you to come back.
Good for him. Good for him, though.
No, it's good. Yeah.
If it's had a very positive impact on his life, I mean, good for him. I'm not really trying to gossip about a person I don't know.
Yeah, no. Eli, he knows I love him. I love you. And I owe you a phone call, actually. I need to say hi and see what's going on. See if he's still
Alrighty.
sober. Before we get into the main topic, Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Yeah, what about it?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, there seems to be some buzz on X, or as I like to call it, Twitter. I'll never call it X. Yeah, there's just a bunch of comparisons between like the live action and the animated show. I would like to open by saying I'm a huge nerd. I love like animated shows, Marvel, Star Wars. Marvel's kind of declining, losing interest. I think they should have quit after Endgame, but it could be just me.
It's not just you.
Okay. Glad to hear it. But yeah, there are a lot of things about the Avatar live action. I think it was good because I watched it all, but it took me like a while to work up the balls to be like, fine, give it a shot. And it's good if you just kind of forget about everything the animated series had to offer and what they did. The storyline, the plot is obviously the same. They did switch up some minor things to cater to the woke agenda, I would say, which is fine, again, if you do not compare it to the animated series, but animated series is goated, always will be. They had some balls back then. Seems now Netflix is just full of a bunch of ballless people. So that's all I have to say about Avatar. I just wanted to shit on Netflix. Bunch of dorks.
So why did you have to build up the gusto to want to watch it?
So, okay, the one social media I spend the majority of my time on would be Twitter. And I just see a bunch of people, like, all it is comparisons between the live action and the animated series. And I just see everybody shitting on it. So I'm like, I'm not.
On the animated or the live action?
On the live action, I'm like, I'm not even going to watch this. I'm not going to do it. But one night, I was home, and I had about 2 old fashions in me, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to put it on. And I did, and I just like, I don't know what it was, but I completely blanked on the animated series, and I was like, okay, I can watch this for a little bit. And it's fine if you like had never seen the animated series, but if you have seen it, you can't help but just make the comparisons that might ruin the live action experience for you. But I don't know, Netflix is going to Netflix. They're going to do what they want.
That's funny that you spend most of your time on Twitter, right? Because I have never even downloaded the app.
Bro, Twitter is the funniest app on the planet. I swear to God.
Why?
All right, it may be just my algorithm, but they're just like the most unhinged, funny statements on there. Like,
you know, while you're pulling up one of your unhinged funny statements,
I can pull up some of my likes.
You should just give me your name and password, and every now and then I'll sneak in and just read what. I promise I won't post anything. I won't make you look bad. I'll just read whatever's going on in your algorithm there.
If you just scroll through my likes, you might giggle a little bit. Might catch a slight laugh. It might make your day. I don't know.
While you're pulling that up, I should pull up one of my buddies. He just sent me.
Like, what is this?
All right. We have an ESEC. She given me desktop. Listen to my music or they keep me in the funny tweets cage forever and then there will be no more Starfly music, sad face. Also, this tweet literally wouldn't be possible without my wife. Brainstorming with me, follow her, she is awesome.
Wait, what else are you reading?
Exactly what you gave me.
Oh, you're reading the comments under that.
I thought you wanted me to read the whole thing.
No, I got another banger. This is some motivational shit, too. This will get people up. Here, give me 1 sec.
Yeah, give me 1 sec, too.
I think everybody needs to hear something like this.
Who's the name of that chick with the wild comment section you sent me? Blonde girl. Does that ring a bell? More on Instagram, though.
What?
There's this blonde chick who makes these. Oh, wait, is this her? Here we go.
Is all cut up on laundry.
Can you hear this?
Not me, but I'm sure someone is, and I'm proud of you.
The comments on those videos are egregious.
So let me
Guess who's all
see
cut up?
if I can find one somewhat innocent. I thought this got the first one. Can someone please explain the lore and the gore behind these comments? Let's see. All right, so one of the comments to that you just heard. That was so funny. Invade a third world country and force me to mine lithium for electronic vehicles in the Western world. Like, I can't even read most of these. Oh, you don't have one more for me? I was hoping you did.
Oh, no, I memorized it. I have it burned into my brain. It was, this is some David Goggins type of stuff. It's like, do you think a crackhead ever wakes up and thinks, damn, I don't have any money. I'm not going to be able to get high today. No, they get up and they make it happen. There's a lesson in there. I'm just saying, if a crackhead can go and make it happen, so can non-crackheads. And I think there's a takeaway from that.
Are we having a serious moment or laughing about this? You're laughing. Thank goodness. Okay. But he sort of has a point, whoever posted that, like, because I've had some friends make some excuses in the past, and it's like, well,
It's called discipline, all right? Whether or not people want to admit it, crackheads have discipline to getting crack. What normal people needed to have discipline is getting the bag.
yeah.
Comparison there. All right. But yeah, I'm not going to go through all my Twitter likes. They're pretty raunchy.
I think we should just spend the next hour chuckling about Twitter likes. We'll do that on our own time. You'll come back. We'll play some Super Smash Bros. In between matches, we'll read funny comments on Twitter.
You got Smash Bros?
Yeah.
I'm kind of beast at Smash. I'm not going to lie.
I just got it like 2 months ago because I realized I wasn't doing anything except podcasting, gym, and going to my job.
Okay.
So I got Smash Bros.
I'm predominantly good at Melee on the GameCube.
Yes. Have you played the one on Switch?
I have it. I was almost convinced to get a Switch, but I realized I wouldn't play enough games on it to warrant dropping like $300. What do you play on the Switch?
Smash Bros.
Uh-huh.
Was the game I got first.
Yep.
And then they re-released. This was honestly like the main reason I got the Switch. Did you ever play Super Mario RPG?
Mm-mm.
It doesn't surprise me because it was released on the Super Nintendo. So it's old.
I played Super Mario Sunshine on the GameCube. I don't know if you remember that one.
I do. Was the GameCube your first system?
Yes, I remember this vividly. I was in like second grade. My parents got me a GameCube for Christmas with Mario Kart Double Dash and Super Smash Bros. Melee, and it was the greatest Christmas ever. 2 bangers of games.
You know what I think I not even think. One of my favorite Christmases was when we got Star Fox on the N64.
I never played Star Fox. The only thing I ever knew about Star Fox was his character in Smash Bros.
So the multiplayer version of Star Fox is you'd be in his plane, his little the fighter plane, and you could play with up to 4 players, and you'd just be put into an arena, and you'd hunt each other down and blow the shit out of each other. And that was like the most competitive Christmas we've ever had.
That sounds really fun.
We'd be taking games because taking turns because there'd be like 20 people there. I don't remember how we worked that rotation, but people were rotating in and out, and we were having so much fun watching. So like you'd have the 4 people playing, and there'd be like 8 people with turkey and cranberry and stuffy behind them, just like fucking watching to see who's gonna win. Dude, such a fun Christmas.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm an only child, so
Really?
all the games I had to play were by myself.
Sounds depressing as fuck.
No, it's not. There's an upside to being an only child. I've had a lot of people tell me that whenever they find out I'm an only child, they're like, "What? Really?" Because apparently there's like an only child syndrome.
Yeah, I don't like them normally.
That's
I'm kidding.
that's what I keep. Honestly, that's what I keep hearing though. It's
Really?
Is that they're like a little weird. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I got that. I don't think I got the memo on that ever.
Where were you born?
I was born in Austin.
So you're, dude, out of the like 70 episodes we've done, maybe 5 of them people born and raised in Austin.
Yeah, I was born in Austin, moved to Lakeway in like 2nd grade. So I've been here, seen the development, seen all the dorks moving here.
Hey.
Oh yeah, you're from California, right? Fucking bozo. I'm just kidding.
Fucking bozo.
I'm just kidding.
No, it's okay. You know what one of my Californian friends told me? He's like, you need to get your license plate changed ASAP because people will throw rocks at your car while you're driving around town.
Really?
And I was like, I don't think it's that violent. And then I moved here, and on the second day here, someone threw a rock. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god. I totally believe you.
I know you did. What's that?
Some Zins.
What's that?
Like nicotine lip pillows. Some nicotine pouches that you just put between your gum and your lip.
Coffee. That's the first word.
Yep, I'm probably gonna get shit on a little bit for doing coffee.
Why?
Most people do like cool mint, spearmint, citrus.
Would it be weird if I smelled it?
No, I don't think I've ever even smelled it.
All right, David, you can do this. Here we go.
Yeah, you can just rip it open. It doesn't matter. But yeah, that actually got me to quit vaping.
Why'd you want to stop vaping?
Well, I had a thought one
There we
day. I was like, damn, what if I'm 30 and still vaping? I'd be a fucking loser. No offense to all the 30-year-olds that are still vaping. But I did not want that to be me. So
So what does this do for you? Why do you want to pop one of these in?
it still gives me a nicotine buzz. It's just not like with vaping, it's almost instant. You feel it instantly. This is kind of drawn out, but it does eradicate the cravings to hit a vape, I would say.
How long you been using these Zins?
Probably since like the middle of summer, 2023.
How many of these guys you pop per day?
When I'm at work, maybe 2 or 3. I don't do it when I'm not at work. I mean, I'm doing it right now because I'm drinking. I do it while I'm drinking and when I'm at work.
Why do you do it while you're drinking?
I don't know. There's just a undefeated combo between nicotine and caffeine and then nicotine and alcohol. I feel like that's a pretty relatable statement.
There's a part of me that I've never taken one of these in my life, and I don't smoke cigarettes at all.
Mm-hmm.
I rarely smoke weed. I went through about a year during COVID. I lost my job, like many of us did, and I had nothing to do because the gyms were closed. So you know what I did? It was a very healthy choice.
What'd you do?
I bought a hookah.
Okay.
And I'd fucking light that thing up every night. And I would open the window. It was inside my family room. Which I don't know why I was doing that. But I would open the windows and like turn on some music or the TV. And I'd smoke blow that smoke out the window to try to be like healthy. And Thad wasn't there, if that makes anyone feel any better. And I would just think about everything that was going on in the world, and then I'd go to bed. And after a year, I told myself I'd stop once I got a job. So I got a job in June, and it was then fast forward to like sometime in 2021. It's like, I've had a job for 7 months and I'm still smoking. What am I doing? I carried it out to the dumpster and I threw it in there so the whole hookah shattered.
Yeah.
And then no one could. Because I was thinking about giving away and I was like, no, this is bad.
Yeah.
No one needs this.
Well, there's no going back after that, too.
No,
So-
you can't change your mind.
What is that stuff that I've only smoked a hookah, like a legit hookah. I think I've only smoked one once, and that was whenever I was in Mexico, like at a hookah lounge.
Would you go to a hookah lounge with me? And we can bring other people too. I could bring a friend or two. You could bring a friend or two. Unless you think it would make you want to start vaping. Because for me, half the reason I liked hookah was because of the sight of the smoke. That does something for me.
Yeah. No, I don't think I'll ever go back to vaping. Sure, I'll like rip people's vapes sometimes, but I never feel the need to go and get my own. It's just not something I need to do throughout the day anymore, which is good. But what even is you smoking a hookah? What's it called? Like hashish?
I think so, yeah.
Hashish?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I don't even know what that is.
It's just like moist stuff. It almost looks like
I know,
ripped
like,
up seaweed
sits
salad.
on like the top. I don't.
Yeah, so you have a bowl that's full of water and then the pipe, and then you pack the bowl full of the hashish and you put that on top, and then you get some aluminum foil and put that over the top, and then you get a little toothpick and and then you get your coals if you have an electric stove like I did, and you light up the coals and then you put them on top. And the first one where you're getting the thing warmed up, the first 1 or 2 puffs are like, okay. But man, those like first 10 puffs after the initial 2, you get this head.
Do they
you
get you buzzed? It's like nicotine, so there's nicotine in there?
It's such a head rush. That's what I liked about it, is I would get this head rush and just think about COVID and the fact I had not a job, and I couldn't go to the gym. And I was like, I just spent my whole day. It was so weird. I'd wake up and I'd journal, which I'm not a journal. I don't do it anymore. I'll admit it. It was because I had nothing but time on my hands.
Yeah.
And then I would plug in a podcast. I'd go take like a 2.5 hour long walk because I had access to this trail that was like in the middle of this forest. It's just beautiful. So I'd walk. Then I would go to a parking garage and I would run up the stairs and do push-ups, jumping jacks, squats, lunges on the roof, run back down, run back up, repeat. And there's like 5 or 6 other people that use the same garage, so we got sort of friendly with each other. And then I'd go home, I'd pour whiskey, and I'd fire up that hookah, and I would just think, we're all fucked.
I don't know. That sounds like a pretty good end to the day to me.
It wasn't a bad, like I was
I'm gonna be
making the
honest.
most of I was taking advantage of my time the most efficient way I felt I could, but yeah. What about you? Well, actually, hang on. I'll come back to that because actually, I had some specific questions around.
What, drugs?
No.
Just kidding. Just Josh and just yanking your chain.
Just yanking my chain. All right. So you're an only child. What Actually, before we get into it, I printed a few pictures to help get your memory jogged. I couldn't find any of you obviously as a kid, but I was able to find some earlier ones.
Yeah.
We're gonna start getting your memory up and running here. Austin City Limits 2015.
I probably talk to maybe one of these people sometimes.
What memories does this bring back?
I smoked a lot of weed back then. That's for sure. I don't know. I snuck in. Honestly, good times.
Good times?
Yeah, good times.
I'm glad. All right, one I didn't print, so I took a screenshot of it real quick.
Did you see my photo that I had to upload for like the headshot or whatever?
I have not looked at it yet.
Okay, it's just like me at the wedding this past weekend. but I'm probably like a little intoxicated in that photo. I don't have like any photos of just myself.
You don't take a lot of pictures, is what I gleaned in doing my getting ready for tonight.
Yeah, I think out of my friends, if you were to compare it to my friends, I'd take a good amount of pictures, but I don't do anything with them. They're just there in my phone. But there's like none of just me. It's all with the homies.
I have one of just you.
What?
That was creepy AF. What's going on here?
Oh, that's when. Have I not told you about this?
No, you have not. So if you want to jump over to YouTube real quick, this picture will be on that. But he is in a wheelchair with a cast on.
Yeah. So in 2017, I was working at a marina and I got my heel crushed between a boat and a dock.
Stop. You did tell me this.
Yeah.
It's coming rushing back. How'd that happen? Just dumb accident where
No, I mean it was definitely like some fault on my part for first of all putting my foot on a boat. You just don't do that. But I did that with good intentions, and this is when I learned what the meaning of "no good deed goes unpunished" really means. So a boat was coming up, kind of when you're pulling up to the dock, the boat wants to get like parallel with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he was coming in like this, and I was going to push his front off to kind of swing his back around to get parallel with the dock so they could tie up. But when he was pulling up and my feet were on the tip, pushing it off in an attempt to make the boat parallel with the dock, he switched it into reverse, which is what everybody does, and the boat stalled when it went into reverse. And so it just kept moving, and I got this foot off, but I didn't get this foot off, and it crushed my heel. And then as a result of that, I have like, I don't even remember, 2 or 3 pins in my heel, and I had to get a skin graft that took.
Oh yeah,
The
you
skin.
did show me. Yes, we talked.
Yeah, it took the skin from my calf and put it on my heel. So this heel has hair on it because it's skin from my calf, and that's how the doctors knew that it was getting blood flow, that it was growing hair.
Does that skin feel any different than the rest of your skin?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no fat underneath it. It's just skin over muscle. So it does feel a little different.
And so there's still muscle there. So if you were to like hypothetically do calves every day,
It looks really weird.
oh, it does.
Yeah, it looks really weird.
So
Like
do you
when I
try-
flex it,
I don't think that looks really weird. I mean, yes, you can tell it's different, but so do you train calves or do you avoid them because you don't want them to get bigger?
I did train calves for a little bit. I could do it again. It's just I know that calves are one of those muscles that is in terms of growth, it's kind of genetic. So I can only get them so big. And I mean, I don't think my calves are small.
No, they're not.
I just also don't think that they'll get that much bigger. And I mean, I guess I kind of indirectly work them like every day, but I could definitely throw that back into the loop. But recently, no, I have not been training my calves very often.
Every time I see you, I'm going to make you do a set of calves with me.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
How about this one?
We can do that.
This is 2018, I think.
I think this was a Christmas party whenever we were all back on break from college.
You talk to any of them still?
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
of them?
One of them actually has a kid now.
Womp
And
womp.
Him and his
No, I'm kidding.
No, him and his wife are both doctors, and it was funny. This past Christmas, I saw them, and they had their kid with them. It was that was the first person I saw when I walked in the door. It was this baby, and I like walked up to it, not knowing how to associate with the baby. So I just walked up to the baby and was like, "What's up? Hey, dude." And the baby just cracked a little smile, just made a little noise. But nah, it's good to see. It's good to see the homies growing up and stuff.
Have you not associated with a lot of babies, I'm guessing?
I mean, a part of me says thankfully, But I mean, no, I don't see babies every day.
Well, as soon as I asked that question, what went through my head was one, I have 4 siblings, and one of them is married with kids. So
Yeah.
those are 3. They're not babies anymore, but those were 3 kids I have in my life. But my very first job ever was in a daycare at a gym, and so I have met a ton of babies because I don't know what it is, but these parents would drop their babies off, and these kids would scream bloody murder with all of the staff except me. So I was always you had 3 rooms. You had the infant room, and then you had the 3 to 7 year, no, infants, and then it was like 1 year to 6 or something. I don't remember the breakup. Basically, there's 3 rooms, and I was always put in the infant room because as soon as I'd pick up this baby, it felt safe, I guess.
That's a good thing.
And I'm very proud of that, but I'm also like, I would be looking at these babies while they were sleeping, and I'd be like, why do you feel comforted with me? I hate kids. But for some reason, they just felt safe with me, bro. So that's all I did was I just held all these kids.
Yeah.
It was the easiest job ever because I would just be sitting in this rocking chair with these like 2 kids. And I was being paid to rock these kids while their parents worked out.
That's super weird that they would scream bloody murder and stuff.
I don't know. I guess from my experience, babies probably just really like being with their... Actually, I was just listening to a podcast the other day, and I didn't turn it on because it was about kids. But I guess in like your first 6 months, you do just develop this like extremely strong relationship with whoever is in the home. Even if they're not like good parents, you just like... you smell them, you see them, and so I think these babies were just being handed off to strangers almost, and they didn't feel safe.
Yeah, and they probably didn't spend enough time with them, considering that they were already in like a daycare.
Yeah, I think we took them. I think once you were 90 days old, you could start dropping your kid off. I think it was 3 months is ringing a bell.
That's crazy.
That's really young.
Like, companies have like maternity leave, right?
Right.
For the mother to spend some time with the kid.
Yep.
I don't know how long that is. I'm not a...
My company, it's not great. It's 8 weeks.
Oh, really? Sheesh.
Sheesh. Don't say that word.
Sheesh? Sheesh?
I guess it depends how you say it, yeah.
I know there are like some countries that their maternity leave would be like 2 years or something.
Dude, Europe, it's in the Europe. There's a couple countries in Europe where it's like...
Is Finland one of them?
I don't know.
I feel like...
We've Googled it live on the show before, and we couldn't find it.
I feel like Finland would be one. I don't know why.
Excuse me.
Finland just sounds right. That'd be such a Finland thing to do. Yeah. Oh, you gave birth. Have a fun 2 years.
And I think like some companies in the U.S. you only get like 80% of your pay while you're on leave, or 60% in Finland, or whatever this magical country is. Not only do you get a year, but you also get like 100% pay. And man, I wish I could remember right now. There is one country in particular where I was reading through the benefits. I was like, if you're going to have a baby, you should just move there, get citizenship, stay there for 4 years, and then come back to the U.S.
Yeah. Damn, I wonder how... I'd like to look into the economics of some countries like that. But I also know that Europe is going through a tough time right now.
Why? I'm kidding.
I mean...
Well, or you could answer if you want. I said why to be funny, but I'd like to hear your take.
Well, it's kind of the same thing that's going on with us. It's all the, like the mass immigration stuff. I don't want to get too deep into that because that might...
We don't need to, and we avoid like political stuff a lot on this show anyways.
That may offend some people, but I know it's just like, it's like overwhelming them. Probably not as much as it is us, since considering that they're a lot smaller, but I know it's getting to a breaking point.
Let's talk about you more. I have one more picture.
Fine.
You got to meet the president and CEO of the Venetian, Mr. George Marcantonis. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Marcantonis.
Did you want to meet him, or was it just a dumb, like right time, right place sort of situation?
No, I'd met him before. So like, I think it was either my freshman or sophomore year of high school. We went to the Bahamas with a group of my friends and my parents' friends, and one of my parents' friends, she had worked for him in the past, so he cut us like a sweet deal. We went for a battle for Atlantis because back then we were all fans of KU basketball. That's when they played, so we got like courtside seats to that, which sounds cool in theory, but if you've ever watched Battle for Atlantis, you know there's not a lot of seats in there to begin with. So it's not like a whole stadium. It's literally played in the casino in Atlantis. And so that's where I first met him. And then I went to Vegas with the same group of people, and he came down and just said hi. I mean, you got to understand, like the COO of the Venetian and the Palazzo, they're just crazy busy people, always on the move.
Right.
So for him to come down and just like say hi and welcome us was super, super cool of him.
When I saw this picture, it almost made me think of, did you see Ocean's 11?
Yes.
Remember the part where they're planning the robbery and they're talking about how the main bad guy, what's his name?
I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
They're talking about how he hits the floor every night and he sees the high rollers and he spends exactly 17 minutes out there before.
Yeah.
As when I saw that picture, I was like, this dude's probably sort of like that a little bit.
Probably is, yeah. But that was a super fun time. But yeah, I love the Ocean's movies. It's made me think about, like, I need to get a group together. We need to plan a heist. We need to do something. We need to get exciting.
Can I be part of this group?
Dude, if you want to. I need to, like, master some skill or something.
I could loop in some of my military guys and see if they'd be interested. I'm sure they bring some good experience.
I'd like to be a professional safe cracker. That'd be pretty sick.
I think I would want to be, you know, the Asian dude.
Yeah, the little midget, the circus guy.
I'd sort of want his role.
Yeah, I don't. No offense. No offense. I think that's off the table. I think we need to reserve that for.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Someone a little smaller.
Not.
Someone that could fit into tight spaces. You know, like an air vent.
Did you see Ocean's 8? You did, right?
No, I did not see Ocean's 8.
Why?
It's all women,
You're so
right?
sexist.
It's all women, right?
Yeah.
Does it play into the originals at all?
It's a great movie.
But does it play into the originals?
You mean yes, the story, people.
I'm sorry, ladies.
I'm sorry.
It didn't appeal to me. I'll give it a shot though.
It's such a good movie. When I watched Ocean's 8, when I watched Ocean's 8 for the first time, when the credits rolled, I was almost thinking like I might like this more than 11 or 12 or 13.
Really?
Not as the best, but like, because there's aspects of 11 I really liked, there's aspects of 12 I really liked, 13 I loved, but then I watched 8 and I was like, you might be better than 12.
I feel like it would honestly be easier for women to pull something like that off because their influence on men is crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's way more advantageous than a man's influence on women.
I'm trying to think if they really brought that aspect of it into the movie at all, and I haven't seen it for a while. As you can tell from this conversation tonight, I'm not a repeat movie watcher.
If I had a woman in the group, she'd be like the designated. Trying to think of a nicer word. Like
if I mute you, will you tell me the word that you are thinking of?
Yeah. just to, you know, get some top dogs out of the way.
Well, isn't that sort of the role that Matt Damon played in 13? Because he had to seduce the blonde woman, remember?
Yeah, but they sprayed like some shit on him, remember?
Yeah, they cheated a bit.
To where yeah, I mean that fake nose they put on him, come on, man. Come on. You're not pulling anything with that. But yeah, I mean, I need to get a hold of some of that stuff. I'd like to test it out. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know what it was. It's probably like pheromones or
probably
something.
Just vape.
Just strawberry watermelon vape.
Yeah. Dude, I can't believe you haven't watched Ocean's 8, especially since you loved 11 through 13.
Yeah, but 11 through 13 was all dudes. I will go take a look at it after hearing that it was very good.
Tonight. No, actually, let me rephrase that. If you would like to come back on the show, we're not even done, and I'd love to have you back. If you come back, the contingency is you must watch Ocean's 8, and we'll talk about it.
I'll give you my review.
I've never had a contingency on someone coming back before. I don't know what that says about you, but
A contingency?
yeah. Meaning you can't come back on unless blank.
All right. Deal's a deal.
I just want you to see good movies.
I know. I
I
appreciate that.
I'd never recommend something bad.
I appreciate art. Film is a form of art.
It is.
I appreciate a good film.
Films are great.
So,
Before I move into the next section, I'm guessing you're probably just going to have one, huh?
yeah, probably.
Do you want anything else? I got a shit ton of bubbly waters, coffee. I could brew you some tea. I think I have some wine if you just want something weaker.
I think I'll stick to God's greatest gift to this earth, water.
Okay. Can we pause so I can make myself one more?
Of course.
I'm not driving anywhere, so
You're the host. You can do whatever you'd like.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Are you having fun?
Yeah. Are we paused?
No, they can hear us, but usually I cut all this out if I walk away.
Penis, 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 penis. How old are you, David?
How do you think I am?
32.
Appreciate you. 36.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm 25.
25.
I'm a youngin.
All right, we're back.
We're back.
We refilled drinks. I refilled drinks. Mr. South is hydrating. And I wanted to ask you a question.
Shoot.
Because you're my friend.
Okay.
And so I think you might be down for this.
Okay.
I went to a breathwork class a couple weeks ago. You ever done breathwork? Or do you think that's all like woo-woo BS kind of thing?
No, I don't have any opinion on it. I've never done it before, though. I do mostly breathe just through my nose, so I've never had like a mouth breathing problem before.
Do you know what breathwork is?
I mean, I have an idea, like
What do you think it is?
like inhaling for a certain amount of time, holding for a certain amount of time, and then exhaling for a certain amount of time. I know that I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure like the military uses that to go to sleep in unsleepable conditions.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Well, I went, and it's essentially, there's like 20 of us in the room, and you have a coach, for lack of a better term, who guides you through an hour of like one of the 5 to 10 minute sections. All we did for like 8 minutes was you would breathe in through your nose once, breathe in through your nose a second time, and then exhale for 5 seconds. So it sort of went, but he slowed down and increased the cadence. So when we first started, we were going really slow. So it was like, and then by the end, we were going, and it was a wild hour. When we stopped at the end of it, have you ever had a bad high where you just got like really anxious?
Yes.
So I'm not going to do breath work any favors here. I'm going to go back. This was not a bad experience. It was a good experience. But even though I had consumed nothing when the breath, and they told me this could happen because I let them know it was my first time. They were like, just so you know, your nervous system might start to panic a little bit. If it does, ignore whatever part of the class we're in and just breathe normally until your body re-regulates itself. Anywho, I felt like I was having a panic attack. It
Really?
was weird.
Was your heartbeat like
Yeah.
really fast and stuff?
Faster than it should have been, considering I was lying flat on the ground just breathing. So I stopped. I ignored his instructions and I just let myself breathe for a few minutes. But I actually need to bring this up for breath work. One of the things we did before starting was they had all of us walk around the room and with our heads down, and we weren't allowed to, you're not talking and you're not making eye contact with anyone. And then they count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you look up, and whoever you're making eye contact with, you kept their gaze for like 60 to 90 seconds.
That's a very long time to look at somebody's eyes.
Well,
That would make me a little uncomfy.
all right, so I'm about to ask you to do something uncomfortable.
To do it?
Yeah,
I've been looking at your eyes this whole time.
but we've been talking.
I know.
We're going to be in silence, and we're just going to time it.
That's weird. That's serial killer activity. Like, I pictured Ted Bundy at the bar, just seeing a bimbo or some shit, just looking at her like.
So let me ask you this. If you knew that this was going to happen, if you were going to this class, I said, hey, son, I'm inviting you to come to this breathwork class, and you look it up online and you see that starts out with 15 minutes of eye gazing, would you be like, fuck that? I'm busy.
I would immediately follow up with, will I get paired with a hot girl?
You don't know because you're walking with your heads down, so all you can see is feet. So probably based off the shoe, you might be able to determine, well, and the ankle, you might be like, yeah, that's a dude, that's a dude. But you also don't know when the countdown is going to start, so it's hard to make that work.
I think I would be down because recently I've been pretty down to do stuff that I've never done before. Like this, for example. I've never done a podcast. I don't know how to act on here. I don't know what to not say, what to say. So, I mean, I think I'd be open to it for sure, just because it's something new. Give me some insight, maybe reveal something about myself spiritually. I don't know.
Want to try it? 60 seconds.
Just looking at each other?
And we're not going to say a word.
Like a staring contest?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. And I might cut some of this out. We'll see when I'm editing what kind of mood I'm in. But we're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That was 60 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Thought we were at like 20.
What were you thinking about?
I wasn't thinking about anything.
How do-
Literally nothing.
How do you feel?
I feel like I could run through a brick wall.
Really?
I don't know. That may be the old-fashioned talking. But no, that was definitely new. I don't think I've ever just looked at somebody that long and not spoken a word, unless it was a staring contest, which I would win.
Right. I think you would too. So the idea is that you're supposed to feel, if you do this with someone, that you eventually just feel more connected, that you trust each other more. One thing they did do that was a little bit differently, and I tried to find some stuff in preparation for tonight because I knew I was going to ask you to do this, is they were reading like a script of sorts. So while you were staring into the other person's eyes, they were like, imagine this person as a kid. They were just born, and they're learning to walk, and they're laughing for the first time. So
Is that what you were doing?
just right now?
Yeah.
No, because I wasn't. I was just here in the moment with you.
Well, yeah. I mean, were you thinking about anything? I wasn't thinking about shit, if I'm being honest.
I was just thinking about how happy I am that you're here.
Appreciate that, David. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
And I was feeling a lot of gratitude that you would do something potentially really uncomfortable simply because I asked you to do it.
Well, never done it before. Down to do things I haven't done before.
So we won't do this tonight, but one of the videos I after going to that breathwork class, I wanted the script because I knew I would want to do this with some people. So I was looking on like YouTube and Google to see if I could find if it had been recorded. And then that way, when we're looking at each other, I could just like hit play and we could be listening to the like the guided eye gazing meditation, whatever. I found this one video where a couple did eye gazing for 7 days, and on day 1 they did a minute, day 2 they did 2 minutes, and so on and so forth until day 7 they did 7 minutes, and just that they felt that in that small 7 days they had built something with each other, and they couldn't even really articulate what it was, except that they were glad that they did it, and they felt like their relationship was 10 times stronger as a result of it. And they couldn't even articulate why, but they were like, go do this. It's minutes of your time.
That's very interesting because it's such a simple action, you know, but it seems like the impact, at least what I'm hearing from you, is massive. So I don't know. I think what I would get out of this would be to remind myself that keeping things simple will never come back to bite you, I guess. It could be a positive benefit.
I just know when I moved here, when this bozo from California moved here.
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing? I'm just kidding.
WTF. Oh, you guys have a beautiful city. I wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah, Austin is pretty sick.
Why are you laughing?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I mean, you haven't left, so you must like it here.
I just be geeking sometimes. Yeah, I mean, I love Austin, dude. You know, you got good lakes here. Got Lake Austin, Lake Travis, Lake Georgetown. Pretty small, but I'm only gone up there once. But you kind of have everything you need here. I mean, when it gets hot, there's bodies of water everywhere. You can go paddleboarding on Lady Bird Lake. Just everything that I require to be happy as a person is here. And also, it's a big bonus that a lot of my homies from college ended up moving to Austin after they graduated. So I get to stay in close contact with a lot of them too. I mean, I've thought about leaving before. If I were to move, it'd probably be to Charleston, South Carolina.
Why?
I went there once, and I just really liked the city. I liked Folly Beach a lot, which I guess I would equate to like South Carolina's Port Aransas, except way less trashy. And that was just you're on the beach, it's on the ocean, it's super nice up there. So if I was to leave the state, then that's where I would go.
Nice.
Yeah, but I just wouldn't know anybody. Actually, I know one of my buddy's sisters that lives there, but aside from that, I wouldn't know anybody. It'd be super new. It'd be a risk. I literally just started a new job like a little over a month ago. There's just no point for me to make any moves like that right now. It's a huge life change. So
I have a question for you that we usually get to between like 10 and 20 minutes of starting the podcast.
what are we at right now?
1 hour and 20.
We're at 1 hour and 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Damn, dude, time flies.
When you're having fun.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Part of the reason I showed you those pictures, I was trying to get your memory up and running and thinking about just like days of the past, is because I always like to give the audience a little bit of a feel for like, who's this person sitting across from me?
Yeah.
So if you were to think as far back as you can, when you're 0 years old, getting traumatized, dropped off at the gym at 3 months old, to when you were like 18-ish, is there anything in that 18-year span that you feel just adds a lot of context to who you are today?
It's a loaded question. Requires a lot of thought.
And you can take 15 minutes to answer this if you want. I'll just sit here and sip my whiskey and listen to your story.
I think a lot of what makes me who I am right now is mostly based off post-college. After I graduated, college was such a joke. I just fucked around the whole time. Obviously, like made grades, made perfectly fine grades, got my degree, but I never really took all that so seriously. Got a job out of college, sure. Ended up hating it. Went some other different career routes, and I just kind of, I think I learned a lot more um, out of school in like the three, I guess four now, 4 short years I've been out of school than I did in all of high school and all of college, just because this is real, and that kind of wasn't in a sense. Um,
The
yeah.
one question I did have, because I didn't know you were only child, did
Mhm.
you ever ask your parents if they would have another kid, or like, what would they say?
I don't think I ever asked them if they're going to. I think I asked them because by the time I got to I was probably in like a freshman, sophomore in high school, and I asked them if they had ever thought about having another one. And I actually asked my mom this recently, and she said, yeah, they thought about it. My mom was drunk, so I don't know if I'd take her answer very seriously, but she was like, yeah, we thought about it, but you were such a perfect kid. we we didn't
It's definitely in the
we
booze.
didn't want to risk having another one that wasn't like you. It's like, all right. It's probably because I was like 9.5 pounds. My mom just did not want to go through that again. So,
Now, in hindsight, since you're a little bit past being a kid, were you pretty straight laced? Followed the rules and did what they asked and whatnot?
I would say I was pretty disciplined. Um, Definitely made my fair share of mistakes as a kid, as any kid does. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I don't think I was spoiled as much to a degree as a lot of other people I grew up with were, but I do know that I had it pretty well off. So I mean, yeah, if I made a mistake, my parents would definitely get on my ass. And I also, I think going to college and not spending all your time at your parents' house throughout that period kind of it like strengthens the parent-child relationship in a way because you're not with them all the time,
Mm.
and in a sense, you kind of recognize how valuable it is to be with those kind of people and how much they really do love you, even though when you're staying with them all the time, it may not seem like it sometimes because according to you or according to them, you can do no right. You're always wrong and like messing up and stuff. And even when you do okay, it's not like it's more of just like a pat on the back. It's not a like we love you so much type of deal. But when you go off and you're not with them all the time, you start to see that and the respect that they have grown to show you. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think I wasn't a bad kid, no. But did I feel like it sometimes? Sure. But I'm not going to put that on my parents. My parents did a pretty damn good job of showing me what's right and wrong. Um, Most of the mistakes I made were all on me. Really, it had nothing to do with them. I don't think they did anything wrong in terms of raising me. I made my own decisions if I had ever made a mistake. So they did their job well. It's just sometimes I don't make the right decision. So yeah, that's about it.
So that's about it.
That's about it.
I agree with you to some extent that college is a little bit of a joke in the sense that I got my degree in accounting and I am now podcasting. And
Yeah. Well, what do you do for work?
I'm a recruiter
Okay.
and I recruit accountants. But you don't need a degree in accounting to recruit accountants.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It
shit.
helps. Like today, for example, a guy was throwing some very specific lingo at me that if he threw it at you, and I'm not doxing you or anything, but you'd be like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" So
Yeah.
it's helpful to an extent, but you don't need it. I think I might of the 30 recruiters on my team, I might be the only one with a degree in accounting. So it just goes to show you don't need this.
Yeah.
It's to spend $20,000 on something that's helpful is a little ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think I haven't used my specific degree.
Marketing, right?
Yeah, and the reason I did that because like I never knew what I wanted to do out of school. I never had like a plan that as soon as I graduate, I'm going to go do this. I just did not know what I wanted to do. But I figured that if I got a business degree, that's super broad and I could go do just about anything. And what I found out was your degree is really, in a way, it's really only necessary for your first job out of school.
Yeah.
At least in terms of my business degree. Like if you're going into law or to be a doctor,
It's different.
or to like, I don't know, like just other shit that literally requires a degree, then it's 100% worth it because you need it. But in terms of what I did, I mean, I look back on it and I really did not need to go to school. Would I do it all over again? Fuck yeah, I had a hell of a time.
Huzzah.
But I wish I knew the value of what I was getting. I thought it was a lot more valuable than it really is.
You graduated in December of 2020. Mm-hmm. Can you talk to me? I haven't had a lot of people who had like a major life event during COVID. Not to say that all my guests didn't have. We were all affected by it, right? Probably no one that was living in the U.S. was like,
Dude.
"Oh, life continued as normal for me." I don't think many people can say that, but for you, I haven't had a senior that was in college who had what they knew completely shifted. You're now doing things at home. Did you like that year? Did you hate it? What reflect on that for me?
Honestly, COVID was kind of fucking fun. And I'll explain.
Please
I'll
explain.
So we lived at this place called the Retreat in San Marcos. It's a bunch of like townhomes stacked next to each other. And when COVID hit, a lot of classes got transferred to online, so people would just stay home. And basically, what we would do, like almost every day, is just get shit hammered. I mean, you put a bunch of college dudes together and make it not possible for them to go to campus to class. Everyone's there. You just have to be in your online class, which most of them you could just you can clock in on Zoom, turn your camera off, and just sit there and watch until it's over. And so, I mean, yeah, a lot of us just kind of fucked off, if I'm being honest, during COVID. So, and having a lot of classes transferred to online only made them easier in a lot of cases. That's before some websites came to light where you can monitor if people are going to other browsers to look up answers.
Oh, I don't like that.
And all that.
That's too Big Brother. Stop it.
I know, yeah. So it was, in all honesty, it was just kind of a joke. None of my roommates got COVID. I didn't get COVID. I never even got vaccinated. But yeah, no, it's COVID during college was just kind of like, it was like going to the playground in elementary school.
So I feel like if I was I would have been in your camp a little bit. I have a guy coming on the show this Friday, and he was in a similar situation as you, and he went on to write a book called COVID, College, and Life Transitions. He wrote a whole book about his experience as a student during COVID.
My book would include 2 words. You'd open the page, it'd be beers deleted. That's it. That's it.
I'm not through all of it yet, but I thought I'm going to throw out one paragraph to you, because I think this would have been a really interesting conversation to all do together, because like if he was here right now.
Yeah.
But because I'm about halfway through, and I think his perception was much different than yours. But real quick, one of the paragraphs that he wrote is that the class of 2020 will go down in history, not for being the class that made it through a pandemic, not for being the Zoom guinea pigs, not even for being the class to attend their first year of college online. We will be remembered as a class who never lost their spark. We will be the class to redefine what it means to grow up. Lastly, you can be sure we will be remembered for our individuality. May the class of 2020 never forget how to fly. Do you relate with that at all? You don't have to.
I can't, but I will say this, and this is probably it's probably the entire reason why I can't. In terms of the grow up part, so my parents were paying my rent during college. I'm sure for people that were paying their own rent, it was terrible,
Yeah.
and that was a struggle. I didn't have to go through that, so I cannot relate to that. And, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna pretend to feel like I know what that's like when I don't. COVID was literally just a breeze
Yeah.
for me during that time. But for people that had to work and probably couldn't at the time, I'm sure it was hell. So yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like I know what that's like.
I'm going to pivot hardcore right now.
Let's do it.
Why'd you start working out?
Why'd I start working out?
Yeah. Was it 2019? And the reason I'm asking real quick is because I was scrolling through the few pictures you do have on Instagram. There's a few that you posted shirtless, and there's one in 2019. There is just a very obvious picture where it's like brothers in the gym. He's been putting in some work. Yeah.
No, like prior to probably like almost a year and a half ago, it had been pretty inconsistent. I ended up like, for a while, dude, after I graduated college and I couldn't go to the rec anymore, I didn't go back to like a regular gym. I bought like these bands called like X3. It came with like a bar.
Yep.
With these bands and like a base plate so you could do legs and stuff. And I followed like the carnivore diet hardcore. And I ate like 1.5 pounds of steak every day, but I was also doing 1 meal a day, so that was all I ate, which is a severe caloric deficit. So, but I've put myself through the ringer of trial and error to figure out what I needed to do to like gain muscle and gain weight without putting on any fat. And that was not the way to do it. I wasn't going to put on any weight in like, I was probably in like a 700 caloric deficit by just eating 1.5 pounds of steak a day. That's like roughly 14 to 1,600 calories. And working with those bands, I mean, it's all like reps. It's just doing more reps. I couldn't go up. Like I would use the maximum band strength, and if I would get more reps, then that'd be good. But basically what I'm saying is there's just nothing like real weights, you know? So.
Why do you go to the gym?
Well, I originally went to the gym because I wanted to get back into free weights. I feel like I knew the bands weren't working very well. I got shredded doing the bands. So when I was in a severe caloric deficit, I was definitely hitting my protein because it was like 140 to 150 grams of protein easy. So I was retaining some muscle, but because of my caloric deficit, I was still losing some. You know, you can only max out so much with that. And the bands wouldn't require the weight I needed to do anymore. So I decided to give the gym a shot again. I like the environment. I like moving around. I like spending an hour of my day in there. I like having access to everything I need.
It's fun, huh? It's a fun hour.
Yeah. And I always feel better coming out than when I did going in, you know, because after a certain point, it gets to where motivation's not enough anymore. Mm-hmm. You got to have just the discipline to go. So, like, I'll walk into the gym sometimes. You've probably never seen me like this, but I'll walk into the gym sometimes and I'll just look pissed. Just like, I don't want to fucking be here, bro. But once you start, you've already convinced yourself you can't stop. You go throughout the whole day, and you leave the gym that day a whole lot happier than when you walked in. Because one, I think it all comes down to one, you did something you didn't originally want to do. Mm-hmm. And that's what discipline is, really, is just doing shit you don't want to do, but you have to.
You do it anyways.
Yeah. So it's definitely it's good for your mental health too. I think when it comes to like mental health, physical health plays a ginormous role. I don't think people will ever reach their peak mental health by just sitting down and meditating. I think they need to add some physical attribute to it that gets them moving, gets their body working, and I mean, yeah, the gym's just different. It's a good environment too. I met you in there.
Yeah.
Meet a lot of nice people. Everybody's there with the same goal in mind, to be honest. Everyone's in there to just get better.
That's one thing I sort of like about it is every single person in that building, even if I don't know anything about them, we're all sort of chasing this common thing. And you're just like, these are my people.
Yeah.
I don't know any of their names. I don't know what your reason is for being here, but we all decided to fucking show up tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if you need a spot on a lift or something, you can literally go ask anybody. Nobody's going to tell you no.
I've never thought about the fact that could you imagine it, like, if you came, I don't even remember how we met, but imagine if, like, you came up to me and you're like, hey, bro, can I have a spot? And I was like, fuck no.
fuck off.
You
feel like-
what, or here's even worse. What kind of bitch asked for a spot?
Yeah.
You're just like,
I'd be like, all right, I'll just go change gyms.
right?
I'm never coming back here, dude.
Gold's Gym
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, I think the odds of
If someone's saying no.
personally for me, because this has happened, the odds of someone saying no to a spot are lower than the odds of me asking for a drink at a bar and being told no. I went to, like, I think it was like 2019. I went to, just 2019 or 2018, I don't remember. But I went to Dirty Six for like one of our date parties, and I asked this bartender for a vodka cran, and she straight up just looked at me and was like, "No."
Why?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I get it; it's a bitch drink, but I fucking love vodka crans. But I'm still, come on, that's your job. give me a fucking vodka cran. Yeah, I've never been told no for asking for a spot.
I'll know what to have on ice for you next time.
A vodka cran? No, I'm all right.
All right. You've moved on.
Only special occasions when I'm already a couple of drinks deep.
Good to know.
That's not a me walking into the bar sober and being like, I think I might get a vodka cran.
You know what? This is different, but I will never, ever drink Jack Daniels again.
Why?
I don't even remember what the last occasion was that I drank Jack. I just know that I drank a lot in college. I think I puked it up at least once, which probably adds to it. But even one of my guests was like, he asked me if I would have, he was like, I'm a pretty simple man. Can we just do Jack and Cokes? And so I go to Total Wine and More to pick up a bottle of Jack. And just even looking at it, I was like, this is fucking disgusting.
Did you get like a feeling?
No, I
in
didn't
your
drink
stomach?
it. Oh, yeah, I did.
Just looking at
just
it,
just a little bit. And that's the only booze that I have that relationship with. There's no other drink. It's specifically just Jack. The smell of it, the look of the label. I'm like, this shit fucking sucks.
That's how I was with Fireball for a little bit. Like, I threw up from it once really bad in high school. I didn't drink it for like 3 years.
Yeah, Jack, dude, it's probably been over a decade since I've drank Jack.
Damn. Well, you're drinking better shit now.
Yeah, we're fucking still Austin. Sponsor us.
Yeah, sponsor us.
Well, I'm glad you're in the gym because that's how we met. Yeah, I think that's the only thing I wanted to ask you about that. All right, main topic. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question. We're going to ease into this. Do you know what we're about to talk about?
Is it the conspiracies?
Sort of.
Okay.
Without saying it, you were doing dips, and I came up to you. I said, hi. We were chit-chatting, and I said, when you get the form filled out, there's a question that says, what do you want to talk about in our culture? And you brought up, don't say it, but you brought up something very specific. Do you remember what it was?
No. I don't.
Here, I'll show you. This first word right here above my thumb.
Ha! Banger.
But like I said, we're gonna ease into this for the audience. you can answer this question any way you want. You don't have to say this as an answer. But if you could be transported to any time, any place, any culture for 24 hours, where would you go and why?
I would go to Atlantis.
Is that your actual answer?
Any place like
You could go you could say, David, transport me to 10,000 BC Atlantis, and I snap my fingers and you're going to be there for 24 hours. Where would you go?
does it have to be non-fictional? Does it have to be real?
So here's the thing. For something like Atlantis that's contested, I would say yes, you could go there. But if you were like, send me to the Marvel universe, I'd be like, no, Sutton, that's fake. So it has to be somewhere that
I wouldn't
that
want to go
could
there anyway. Have
be-
you seen what fucking happened in the Marvel universe?
Yeah, 50% of them die.
Yeah, no,
And none of us know what happens after Endgame because we didn't watch it. Or no, not Endgame. What's the movie we all stopped at? You said it earlier. What was first? Infinity Wars, and then Endgame. Yeah, none of us watched past Endgame because we didn't like it.
I did watch past Endgame. It just... All right, I will say this.
Say it.
The Loki series is pretty gas. That's pretty good. Because that takes place... Season 1 takes place during Endgame when they go back and they fuck up getting the Tesseract. Do you remember that?
In the movies, yes, but I didn't
Yeah.
watch the show.
Yeah, so Loki takes it, and that's literally where Loki picks up.
Oh,
Yeah.
I might need to go watch that now.
Yeah, no, it's a good series. But then after that, dude, like the movies they released just really didn't. I mean, they tried to like fill in some plot holes, but once they started making stuff that took place after Endgame, I don't know, it wasn't the same. Like, and it's literally in the name of the movie, Endgame.
Right.
Just fucking cut it. But they're not going to. It's Marvel. They're going to milk all the money they can out of it, and I honestly don't blame them, but I wish they'd put in a little more effort to, please the fans.
Well, the thing too is that I was reading or listening to a podcast, but some movies are made for international audiences, and so as they're writing the script, they're like, all right, this is going to be translated into 70 languages. But then if the movie is made primarily for an American audience, they hold back on the script on purpose, knowing it's going to be translated. So then the American audience typically gets disappointed because it was written to be translated, not written to entertain.
Huh.
So let me give you an analogy, because I did mention that we were going to talk about AI. For the first 40 episodes of this show, I wrote all the show notes myself. And then I decided one day to fire up ChatGPT, and I wrote my notes like I normally do, and I went to ChatGPT, and I said, please rewrite the following show notes to be optimized for SEO.
Mm-hmm.
And I put the show notes in, it rewrote them. I used ChatGPT's notes, and I noticed that when that episode dropped, it had 4 times more downloads in the first 24 hours than any episode I've released ever.
Really?
So I would say that movies that are made to be released in the US are written in a way where they are optimized for they are optimized for the English language.
Yeah, it's based on a target audience.
Whereas when you're trying to market a movie to the globe, you need to almost dial back in a way where it can be translated, and therefore it won't be as intriguing. Just like if a movie was made just for China or just for Australia or just for Europe, or they would optimize the script to be written in that language dialect, so using words that people could relate to.
Yeah.
But since the language is going to be translated in 70 fucking times, and I think that's why some brands like Marvel don't do as well, is because they can't capture our attention because they're literally holding back on what they could be doing.
Yeah.
If that made any sense at all.
Do you have you seen that movie, The Interview, where they go to North Korea to interview Kim Jong-un?
Is that with
the comedy?
James Franco?
Yeah.
I never watched it.
Oh my god. you got to watch it. As a first timer, you're going to love it. But yeah, North Korea did not allow that movie to be aired. Surprisingly, right?
Shocked.
Yeah, no, it was a funny ass movie though. You should definitely give it a shot.
All right. Do you like popcorn?
Yeah,
Do you want some while we chat?
sure. Why not?
I'm itching for it.
Oh,
He thought I was going to make popcorn. I'm not making popcorn. I do make popcorn.
I did. I thought you were gonna throw in a pouch in the microwave. It's good pop. It's a big ass bag.
Costco, baby.
You got a Costco card?
Yeah. Do you? You want to go shopping with me sometime?
I need to buy in bulk.
Let's go to Costco next weekend. It's dangerous. They should honestly sponsor the show because this home is brought to you by Costco. This fucking candle came from Costco. My clothes came from Costco. My personality came from Costco. All of it.
I grew up with a girl that was my neighbor. Her parents bought a fucking go-kart from Costco. Gave it to her for Christmas. Badass go-kart. It was huge. Had a roll cage and everything. Sick.
All right, Atlantis.
What about it?
Why would you want to go there for 24 hours?
You know, this all...
Just leave it. That we'll get it later.
Hypothetically, if Atlantis was real, it is said to have been the peak of human technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like... I would like to know what that looks like. And the theories on people that really believe in Atlantis, the theories on how it got destroyed were based off natural disasters, right? Like it could have been something as much as rising sea levels caused by like a big meteor hitting the oceans and just causing just massive waves to make a huge tsunami, or like with the, I don't know, this is kind of a pivot and unrelated, but like with the Ice Age, there's a theory how the Ice Age happened was like a comet hit the oceans and what's that scientific term? This is like fucking fourth grade science.
Water levels rose?
No, water levels didn't rise. It like made a bunch of air go up into the atmosphere, which drastically changed the temperatures like at an increasing rate, and that's why the Ice Age happened. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like when the weather gets colder. What's that called? Forget what that's called. I'm so stupid.
Do not say that about yourself.
Well, this is like, it's either fourth grade science or like seventh grade science. I definitely learned.
Yeah, but school was a joke. You said that. Here, do you want me to read you the 6 most popular theories on Atlantis that I could find, and maybe that'll help jog your memory?
Yes.
I'll give you the headline only, and if you want me to go into detail, I can.
I would like to start this out by saying if y'all have any interest in hearing good theories about Atlantis, you should listen to Graham Hancock.
Graham?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, he's a very interesting fellow. I really, you know what I think was my funniest takeaway from listening to, I listened to a full episode of his on Joe Rogan. I watched the episode of his Netflix show about Atlantis, and I listened to someone else talk about their thoughts about Graham's theories. I did a lot of prep work for you, sir.
Thank you. I came in here with no prep work.
And that's okay. You're not you're supposed to show up and enjoy.
Balls free.
Are you enjoying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want you to have fun.
Yeah.
That's why I do the prep work, so we can. I do the work. You just get to show up and have fun.
Yeah, I'll thug it out. It's all right.
You're gonna do work for the next one. You're gonna watch Ocean's 8.
Yeah, it's
So
easiest
it's
homework
not even
assignment
work.
of all time.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Well, I was gonna say that real quick before I forget. That's funny about Graham. Is he was talking, he was like, yeah, if I even say the word Atlantis, other archaeologists just roll their eyes and write me off. And I just got this mental image of all these nerdy archaeologists who are like, oh, fuck, this guy talking about Atlantis. And I'm like, why is it even that big of a deal?
Yeah.
We're debating about if a city potentially existed or so let me ask you this. Am I missing something where I'm like, why is this such a contested topic where people are like, oh, David said Atlantis on David's Saturday Night Sit Back. I'm never listening again. Like, why is this such a hot topic?
Well, it makes you think why archaeologists are so quick to dismiss it, because what it makes me think is that they probably already know something that they just don't want to be public information. You know, like it's like somebody getting real close to the truth, and the CIA being like, yeah, we need to whack that guy. We need to make sure that never gets out.
I heard a phrase recently that someone told me because I got some. There's a particular post I made online and I was getting a lot of shit for it. And someone told me, just remember that when people start speaking up, it's because you're hovering over the target. And
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, fuck it. Thank you.
Usually when you start getting a lot of people, not even a lot, but some people disagreeing with you to a degree at least. I mean, of course there are going to be people that are just wrong, and everyone's going to disagree with them. But for some people that may be right about something or know what they're doing, and there's a group of people maybe just talking down on it or shitting on them or wondering like, what the hell is this guy doing? You're probably doing something right. You know, you're not gonna, I don't think when it comes to doing something great, you're gonna have everybody agreeing with you, because not everybody's gonna realize that you're doing something great until it's already done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Could be just me.
All right, let me hit you with this. 6 Atlantis theories. Number 1, Atlantis was a mid-Atlantic continent that suddenly sank into the ocean. Number 2, Atlantis was swallowed up by the Bermuda Triangle. Number 3, Atlantis was Antarctica. Number 4, the story of Atlantis was a mythical retelling of the Black Sea flood. 5, Atlantis is the story of the Minoan civilization, which flourished in the Greek islands circa 2500 to 1600 BC. And last but not least, number 6, Atlantis didn't exist at all. Plato invented it.
No, that's a dumb theory. Plato did not invent it. It's been recorded in like biblical texts.
Well, and even if you go to Netflix and watch Graham, did you watch that episode by chance?
I did, but it was a while ago, so it's not like burned into my brain.
I intentionally left it to watch this morning while I was drinking my coffee, so in case, just for that reason.
It's like
he essentially found him and several other archaeologists were scuba diving near the outskirts of Florida, and found these rocks that some archaeologists said were natural rock formations. But in studying them closer, they essentially concluded that they had to be man-made. There's no way that the ocean just developed these rocks and that they happened to fall in that specific pattern, and that they were running parallel to each other, and that they were more than likely a base structure that homes and stores and other things were built on top of them. And so was it necessarily Atlantis? No, but was this evidence that there was a city that is now submerged underwater? By the end of the episode, it was a definitive yes, that this is not an ocean-made rock formation.
Yeah. And they're, I'd have to go back and listen to his episodes again. But I remember him saying something along the lines of like, in like biblical time texts, somebody was stating that like a great disaster happened during this specific time, which lines up with somebody else's somebody else saying that like Atlantis fell at this time. It wasn't called. They didn't call it Atlantis. That's what we call it. But it was referring to that, and it was just like what's that called? Cross examining. It like matched up pretty well, and I don't know. This is all hypothetical. I just like to believe in things that most people probably would find a little crazy, but it would be cool to at some point maybe get some definitive proof that a higher civilization did exist and it was wiped out by a natural disaster. It's not like Aquaman where they were experimenting with shit and it just blew up.
Right.
So,
Well, first off, thank you for introducing me to Graham's work because I had never heard of the guy before you mentioned him that day. And one thing that you probably don't know about me that the audience knows, but I was raised Christian, so I'm pretty familiar with the Bible. I've read through the entire book multiple times. I don't have it memorized. I don't go to church anymore. I don't practice Christianity anymore. I don't claim to be a Christian. It's not for me. But I do think parts of the Bible are probably true. And when Graham was relating, he mentioned in his episode on JRE the Noah's Ark story, and it made me thinking that I could believe in that. I could believe that at some point in time we had Earth and people living in it and all these cities, and something crazy happened, like you were saying, where for some reason, a meteor hit the Earth, the entire planet flooded, a few people lived, and now we are where we are today in 2024. But as someone who was raised to sort of believe the Bible literally, and then hear Graham's perspective that with any myths and with any stories, that is the foundation of who we are as humans. And stories is what binds us all together. And even he was talking about the Noah's Ark story a little bit and was like, maybe it didn't go back, it didn't happen word for word like the Bible explains it.
Yeah.
But at some point in time, there was something that happened on our planet that wiped out the majority of human beings.
I might get shit on for this from the diehard Christians, but do you ever wonder? The Bible's pretty old, right?
Yep.
Do you ever wonder how much it's been altered throughout the years?
So it's funny because me and a friend, the friend I told you I had the phone call with, and I was talking about how our episode, remember I was telling you about him? Yeah. So we actually were talking about that and how let's say Adam and Eve, for argument's sake, are real people. Let's just say that happened, right? And that was thousands of years ago. I was telling him how right now in my recruiting job, we are dealing with a he said, she said type conversation and trying to come to a conclusion with who should get a commission check based off of a conversation that was had 3 weeks ago. And I brought that up to tell my friend Kyle, if Adam and Eve were real, this was thousands upon thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
And if a conversation at an accounting firm can get convoluted in 3 weeks, and then we take this book full of stories that had multiple authors, was written over thousands of years in a language that might not even exist anymore, and now we're reading it today and like, this is fact.
Yeah,
I'm like,
just taking it word for word.
There's no way. There's no way. It's impossible.
I mean, I
And
wonder.
this is coming from someone raised Christian who was told for 20 years of his life that this is the ultimate truth.
Yeah, I wonder how much bad shit was left out. Because, I mean, I know the Knights Templar, like the church was, the church was a weapon. Like religion was a weapon for for that military, the Knights Templar. They were just being told they're fighting in the name of God to go, murder all these people, take their land. You're doing it in the name of God.
Right.
I don't know. Just cracks me up. Like religion isn't it's not all sunshine and roses,
It's not. I agree 100%. One question I wanted to ask you is we've seen a lot in our lifetime in the sense of like the internet, cell phone. Like you and me both have a computer that's attached to our hip that didn't exist a couple years ago.
Crazy.
So before you and me die, we're going to see a lot because it's just moving faster and faster. Are you worried about any disasters that might happen in our lifetime? Have you thought about that?
Can you specify what kind of disasters?
I'll bring up one that a prior guest talked about. She thinks that essentially as AI develops,
Terminator?
it could learn how to create a black hole and essentially just like suck out Earth. She articulated it much better, but I'm a little buzzed right now. But she thinks that like as wonderful as it is as a tool, it could also lead to like a Matrix type situation.
Yeah, it needs to have limits.
Right.
But the thing is that someone's gonna. The fear is that someone will create an AI that will be able to surpass those limits that were originally, I guess, wired into it, and it will be able to think for itself. It's like the Terminator, bro. Like that Skynet, how it just takes over, releases all the T-1000s.
Right. And I guess I don't mean I didn't want to probe you into answering a certain way. I'm actually more referencing to like the Noah's Ark scenario. Do you ever think about like, we just don't think about like a global natural disaster that often. Like what if, a meteor hit the earth? We just, as a species, we don't really think about it, and we don't really play it.
Well, what are we gonna do about it? Like if I see a 300-yard wave coming towards me, 300-yard tall wave coming towards me, what am I gonna do? I'm probably gonna run towards it and be like, "Get this shit over with." I'm fucked. Well, I mean, yeah, those natural disasters, that's just a different breed of destruction. Nothing man creates will ever amount to what nature can do.
You're right.
I mean, maybe with the exception of some nukes, but when was the last time one of those was used,
That's actually funny you bring that up, because one of the questions I was going to ask you was that if you heard that a nuclear missile was being used, and let's say it's not being targeted at the U.S., so it's not necessarily the U.S. that's shooting one, but some country is using a missile against another country that's not us. What would your thoughts around that be?
I don't know. It depends. Because I feel like nuclear warfare is, that's why like people don't really use it. That's why when we used it in World War II, it's because no one else could. Right?
Right.
Like we were the only ones with it. Now like everybody has nukes. So if one person uses it, that person that they fired upon is probably able to use it too. And they'll fire it upon them. And then those countries' allies, who knows how they feel? Are they going to want to interject? Or are they just going to let those two countries get glassed? And that'd be the end of it. I mean, it'd be first of all, I don't know how I would handle that as like the president of the United States or something, watching this go down. I have no idea how I would handle that. But as a civilian, I think just about everybody would be at least mentally preparing themselves to get to somewhere safe, like a bunker or something like that.
Right.
Just in case shit really hits the fan. I mean, it depends. It depends largely on the countries, I think, that are doing it. But
yeah, it's a big question when you've never experienced it, because you and me have never had that happen in our lifetime.
Yeah.
So it's hard to pontificate on something that we've never had happen. But I also just, I don't know. I just jotted it down as a question as I was doing my research and getting ready for tonight.
I mean, how do you think? How do you think people would handle it?
I'd be terrified for the exact reason that you said, is that everyone has them now.
Yeah.
So it's like, where does the domino stop falling?
Yeah.
And then what? And then it's a part of the reason it's hard to answer is because, like you said, it depends what country is doing the firing and where are they targeting. Because then another part of it is who allies with who. Because I'm sure that would shift the landscape of and whatnot. But I don't want to get too deep into it. It's just but I would just say I would be terrified is my fucking answer. Even if it wasn't targeted at us, I would just be fucking scared because I feel like it would change everything.
Like, I mean, at least what we're told by our government is a lot of our war on terror is to prevent these countries we deem extreme, to prevent them from getting weapons of mass destruction because we're so confident that they're going to use it, I don't know.
I have a lighter question for you.
Hit me.
About myths in general. So I asked ChatGPT.
Hey, look, this popcorn looks like a bomb.
And you ate it before you could have held it up to the camera.
Take my word for it.
All right. Shit. Sorry, Cords. Sutton, I'm glad you're here, man. This is fun. Thanks for being here.
No problem.
I asked ChatGPT the most popular U.S. myth, and it was not what I was expecting. Do you have any guess as to what it could be? And I'll give you a clue. It has to do with one of our first presidents.
About George Washington?
Yeah.
I've never even heard a myth about George Washington.
Want me to read this to you?
Yeah.
One of the most popular myths in U.S. culture is the story of George Washington. I can talk. And the cherry tree. According to the myth, a young George chopped down his father's cherry tree with a hatchet. When confronted by his father, he truthfully admitted to the deed, proclaiming, "I cannot tell a lie." While this story is often cited as an example of Washington's honesty and integrity, it is widely considered to be a fabrication created by biographer Parson Mason Weems in the early 19th century to illustrate moral lessons for children. Despite its fictional origins, the tale remains ingrained in American folklore.
Interesting. Hey, can I go to the bathroom real quick?
Yes.
I've been holding that so long.
And while he is using the bathroom, I would just like to thank you, the audience, for tuning into this episode of DSNSB. I've been having a ton of fun, and I hope you have too. If you have comments on anything that we've been talking about, because we have covered a wide variety of topics tonight, leave a comment. Tell us your thought. God dang, I got the hiccups. Leave us your comments on Christianity, on if there was an event in the past that wiped out the majority of the civilization. What else we talk about? College and COVID. Comment on that. But what I also need you to do is share this episode with someone. If you've been enjoying this conversation, share this episode with a friend or family member. Tell them to give us a listen. And then I have one more favor to ask of you. My promise to you, if you do the following favor to me, is that I will continue to grow the show as big as I can possibly make it. As you know, we don't have sponsors. It is all self-funded by myself. So please help me grow this show by doing 3 things that will take none of your money and about 2 minutes of your time. Give the podcast a 5-star review on Spotify. If Spotify is not letting you leave a review, it's because you haven't quote unquote listened to an episode yet, because you've been listening or watching on another app. All you have to do is hit play on any episode, drag that little circle to the very end and fast forward to the end, and then you can leave a 5-star review on Spotify. Go leave us a 5-star review and a written review on Apple Podcasts. And lastly, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And Sutton is back from his bathroom break. Welcome back, Mr. South.
What a wonderful piss.
While you were in the bathroom, before we talk about George, did you notice anything about that toilet?
I was going to ask you about this. What is that's like a bidet?
Uh-huh.
What are your thoughts?
I'm going to tell you one of my friend's thoughts.
I want to know your thoughts.
My butt's never felt better.
All right.
All right, this might be a little graphic. We're going to talk about poop for about 5 minutes. So go to the show notes and click to the next timestamp if you don't want to hear me talk about poop. You know how every now and then you get one of those shits where you got to wipe like 30 times before you're done. So
Yeah.
the bidet, it just cleans all that shit out for you. And they're not a sponsor. I'm just talking about my life and how I live it. Dude, it's a fucking game changer. Because sometimes when you poop and you wipe and then you leave, and even though like you think you're clean, you sort of feel, it feels like sticky. It's like, you know how whenever you shower, you just like, you feel like your body's at its best. It's like being able to shower just your butt.
That's a great way to put it.
Have you ever used one?
No.
You should use mine before. Even if you don't need to poop, you should just go in there, drop your pants, and spray your butthole.
Maybe next time.
We're not that good of friends yet.
maybe another time. I'm gonna have to mentally prepare myself to have water shoot up my butt.
It's the anus blaster. I got one for my buddy Tom. Shout out Tom Barvick. He does not come up in every fucking episode, and I am not sick about talking about him. He's my best fucking friend. He's my adopted little brother is how I describe him. I bought him one because I didn't know what else to buy the dude. He has an amazing girlfriend. His life is going in the right direction. This last Christmas, I was like, what the fuck do I buy Tom? So I bought him a bidet, and I gave it to him. And in late January, he still hadn't installed it because he was scared. He's like, "What if I fuck it up?" So I was like, "Let me come over. I'll help my little brother install it." So I go over. We installed it, and then ironically, he needed a poop, which was great. So I closed the door. I let him do his thing, and when he sprayed himself, and it was very shocking. He yelled. He's like, "Ah!" But because it's a sensation you have no idea what to expect. Like you've never had water blast up your butthole before, you know?
Yeah, I'm also a straight man.
Right.
So
yeah, and so is Tom. and so so then I waited about 3 weeks, or I didn't wait, but we had a phone call about something completely unrelated a couple weeks later. And I asked him, I was like, "Oh, dude, you've had your bidet for like 3 weeks now. Have you been using it, or was it like too much for you?" And he was like, "Bro, I've never felt better. I'm religious about this thing. When he's a musician. Mm-hmm. He was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I'm on tour in March because all those hotels will not have bidets, and I don't know what I'm gonna do without my bidet now."
Do you even use toilet paper anymore?
You use at minimum one to dry it off because you have water, so you're almost just drying. And then sometimes you use a second one if it needs a little bit more.
I bet you save some money on toilet paper.
I mean, I do buy so here's the thing. When you buy your toilet paper from Costco and you have a bidet, one pack of toilet paper from Costco lasts you like 4 years.
I'm a little jealous. I'd be running through those rolls. I'm pretty generous.
We need to get you in Costco. Let's go for it. You need to buy yourself a Costco shop, a Costco membership, or just go with me next weekend.
Where even is the nearest Costco?
North. It is 15 minutes from here in the opposite direction of Bee Caves.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Mm-mm. Alrighty.
So what do you think about you? So I had never heard that George Washington myth. Have you?
No. Well, actually, when you mentioned like the cherry tree and him chopping it down, I had, but I just don't. In all honesty, I don't really think anything of it. Like,
I just think it's funny that was ChatGPT's answer. I'm like, I asked for the most popular myth, and I don't know. I just even in like history class, I don't recall ever hearing about that. I'm like, that's what you're giving me? Is he chopped down a cherry tree and said, "I cannot lie"?
I don't know why that reminds me. Do you remember this like children's book? It was about this boy that's sat by a tree. Like the whole cover was green except for the apple and the boy. I forget what it's called.
I wish it was ringing a bell, but it ain't.
Hold on. Let me do a quick Google. Tree children's book. Wow, banger. The Giving Tree.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah, this one.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why that's what it reminded me of. That was a good book, though.
So then I was very disappointed with the George story. So I asked ChatGPT. I opened it up, and I said, "Give me the most popular myths in the world," and it gave me 6. I'll give you a couple of them. Stop me at any time if you want to say something about one of these. There's the Greek myth of Prometheus, who created humans from clay and stole fire from the gods to give to humanity. You ever heard about that one?
Isn't that just like Greek mythology? Well, I guess mythology, it's in the word.
I immediately thought of the alien movie Prometheus.
Yeah. Yeah, that too.
Just
because that whole movie is about, isn't it about that guy? And like, I'm going to create people to enslave. And then when they try to attack me, I'm going to get mad. Is that kind of the gist of that movie?
hang on, I'm being my own Jamie for a minute. Prometheus.
I do really like Greek mythology, though. It's very interesting.
The discovery of a clue to mankind's origins on Earth leads a team of explorers to the darkest part of the universe. 2 brilliant young scientists lead the expedition. Shaw hopes that they will meet a race of benevolent, godlike beings who will in some way verify her religious beliefs, while Holloway is out to debunk any spiritual notions. However, neither the scientists nor the shipmates are prepared for the unimaginable terrors that await them.
Because that movie was like the origin story of the Alien movies, right?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Okay.
Next one, the North mythology, the Norse creation myth that involves the primordial being Ymir, whose body parts form the world. Hindu mythology, that their god was essentially the creator of the universe. The Great Flood, which we talked about a little bit. Flood myths are found in many cultures, such as the biblical story of Noah's Ark, the Mesopotamian epic of Gilgamesh. Graham Hancock talks about that one. Similar terrors in Hindu, Greek, and Native American mythology. And the last one that ChatGPT gave me is trickster myths. Many cultures have trickster figures, such as Loki in Norse mythology, and Anansi in African folklore, and Coyote in Native American traditions.
You know what that reminds me of?
Tell me.
Have you seen any of the Transformers movies?
Most of them, if not all, yeah.
What's that one? The first one with Mark Wahlberg, Age of Extinction.
Okay.
You know that like assassin guy? That assassin transformer?
That is,
What's his name? He's the Lamborghini. I forget his name.
I wish you were asking me about any other Transformers movie but that one.
Lockdown. Pretty sure he's called Lockdown, and he's talking to the director of the CIA, and he was telling him, it's like, that's the problem with all of you, like all you beings. You all think you're the center of the universe. He's like, you have no idea. It just popped in my head when all these religions think, oh, this guy created the universe. This guy created the universe. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot we do not know. What? Do you know something?
No, I don't know anything. It's just so funny that you and me are having this conversation because earlier my buddy Kyle today called me just to say hello with no set agenda, and we had a hour-long conversation about life, death, Christianity. As I was telling him where I was at with religion, he asked me, he was like, have you studied any Buddhism?
Buddhism?
Buddhism, thank you. And I said, no, I've never studied. I have no idea what that religion is about. And he was like, I think your beliefs are actually in line with Buddhism. So you should, in 2024, like find some books, some articles, some podcasts. He's like, you should research it because you might actually subscribe to more of their beliefs than you might think they do.
I don't doubt it.
But I just, yeah, oh, I was thinking about, what you said about the Transformers is I was just raised in a way that was so like, were you raised religious? Was there any religion in your home? What was it?
I was raised Christian. I went to like youth group in middle school and high school and all that. But
Do you still go to church?
It was never forced upon me. I really got into it for the social aspect. But I had gone to church before I moved to Lakeway, like as a very young child. My parents didn't really go anymore. And I will say they are doing just fine. Okay, they're happy. But no, I think when I got to college, I just started to question things a lot more than I had previously. And I just didn't buy into all of it, all of the facts that come out of the Bible. I do, however, believe in like a higher power. I just don't specify it down to one religion. I think most religions have the same idea. They believe in the same thing. They just call them different things. We call it God. Muslims call it Allah. Buddhism, what is it, Buddha?
I don't know.
All right, I don't either. Don't roast me. But I mean, I think most religions believe in a pretty similar idea, and we're not all that different. It's just those minor differences that seem to, I don't know, dude, just like break people and make them think another group of people is terrible because they don't agree on 100% of what they do.
Can I read you a Graham Hancock quote and see what your response to it is?
Sure.
How do we celebrate our diversity and not argue about my diversity being better than yours?
Sounds like a shot. Like he's taking a shot.
What do you mean?
I think he's taking a shot at some groups of people.
But one of the reason I wrote that down specifically is partly because of what you just said. Are all these religions that different? We have different terminology, but it's all sort of like when Kyle told me that comment he made today about how he thinks that I might subscribe to some Buddhist beliefs, I was like, that's wild that another human being said that to me, because I think right now, I'm going to use this term loosely because I don't know that it's accurate. Where I am right now in life is that I believe in something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily call it God, but I don't believe in coincidence either. I think there is some higher power out there that if you can tap into it will help guide you to lead a better life.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the same thing I am. Like, I believe in a higher power. And I think the term for that is like agnostic or something.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, all my friends know this too, that are religious. They don't look down on me at all. They don't talk down on me about it. They don't like try to force me to go to church or anything. They respect it. They don't think any different. But I think when it does come to religion, though, there are a lot more similarities there between religions than people choose to acknowledge. You know, I think in the state of today's world, it's very easy to point out the differences instead, and it's just easier to not, I don't know, to not show love to people than it is to maybe be kind and be like, hey, listen, we have this in common. I get that we're different about these kind of things, but that doesn't mean we have to hate each other. I don't know. State of the world is crazy right now. Everybody's just different.
One thing I've been thinking about is about lately is that I'm trying to think of how I want to articulate this. Let's take like me and I, I'm trying not to get myself canceled, but also like articulate what I've been thinking about. Let's take just you and me as an example. You and me are different ages. We have different diets, different jobs, different schedules. We dress differently, support different brands, and we could take a look at all these external factors and make a judgment call about the other person based off what I'm seeing on the outside.
Yeah, if you were to put us on paper side by side, you probably wouldn't think that we would get along.
I'm going to ask you a quick fire shot of questions. I'm going to ask if you would be transparent enough to give me a yes or no answer.
Okay.
Have you ever been afraid?
Yeah.
You ever been happy?
Yeah.
You ever felt lonely?
Yeah.
You ever felt accomplished?
Yeah.
You ever been stressed to a point where you don't know how you're going to move forward?
Yeah.
You ever felt joy?
Yeah.
Isn't that the shit that matters?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you could be 20, 30, 40, 50, Asian, black, white. You could be male, female, they, Christian, Buddhist, agnostic. At the end of the day, I think we focus on this external thing when it's like, why aren't we focusing on the fact that you and me are both concerned about the same shit? We both are afraid of things. We both have things that bring us joy. We both want to know what our purpose is on this planet. We both want to know why we want to get out of bed the next day. We both get stressed and anxious and depressed. And even if we don't talk about this stuff, isn't that the stuff that matters?
100%. And I also think it goes to show that some similarities are more important than others. Like some hold more weight than others. Like whether or not we dress the same, it's more important that we've gone through similar life experiences. That's a hell of a lot more important when it comes to picking somebody you want to be friends with. That's a lot more important than those small similarities, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it goes to why I had you on the show is because, dude, I just like fucking hanging out with you, you know? And there have been like a dozen guests that I've invited on for the same reason where I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck we're going to talk about. I just know I want this person in my home and I want to have a conversation with them and I want to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Because they're kind and they have a good spirit and a good energy about them. So why not?
Yeah. Why not? Fuck it, YOLO. This is cool though. I've never done a podcast before, so this is a cool experience.
And I think it's going pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's effortless. Time is flying, that's for sure.
You probably want to go soon because you work tomorrow, huh?
I do work tomorrow. I need to cook a steak when I get home. But it's really no big deal. No big deal. We can go as long as you want. I don't care. My dog's going to be all right, I think.
We can move. Well, like I said, you can come back, and I hope you do come back. And then the next time you come over, what we're going to do first is we're going to play a couple rounds of Smash Bros. Before we record.
Okay, good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, too.
That'll get me loose.
I have a couple of closing questions for you.
Okay.
Who do you hope listens to this?
Honestly, I didn't have anybody in mind. I had nobody in mind.
But now that you've actually had the conversation and know what we covered, is there anyone who just like a friend, your mom, your dad, just someone who you're like, yeah, I'm going to send them a link when this goes live?
I'll definitely show my parents. in terms of like my close friends, I think they've heard something pretty similar to what we've talked about on the more deep topics. So I'll shoot it over to them in a group text if they want to listen to it. I'll probably get roasted, but that's a given. They're not your friends if they're not roasting you, right?
And you know what I liked about you is you brought some hot takes this evening. I think some of my other guests are a little afraid to like give their honest opinion, but you were just like pow pow pow. Is there anyone you hope doesn't listen?
My boss.
Really?
I'm just kidding. I don't think he'd care. No, not really. You know, I don't think. I think I was pretty transparent on here about what I knew and what I didn't know. If I didn't know something, 100%, I probably followed it up with saying I don't know.
Yeah, you probably did.
So I don't know. I don't. Just said it again. Yeah, I'm not an expert in anything.
Yeah, you're just some scummy dock master.
Don't take my word for anything I said.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, this episode was two buddies who shot the shit, but one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on is because whether you thought college was a joke or not, you went, you got your degree, you're working out, you're leading a relatively healthy lifestyle, and I think you could be an example to other guys and gals that are younger with you who are we do have a good portion of the audience who is high schoolers and people in their late teens, early 20s, and I do think that they could see someone who's articulate and smart and thoughtful and had the courage to come on a podcast and share his thoughts, and that you are an example to people who are a couple years younger and a few steps behind you. And so even though we were just two buddies who shot the shit, I also think that you brought a lot to the table for people who maybe needed a little bit of a kick in the pants of like, man, if Sutton can do it, like I can do it. You know, I can do this. So yeah. I do want to thank you for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. I have a new tradition where I've been taking questions that I really like from other podcasts and asking them of my guests to see how they answer. And I never know what question I'm going to ask you until the end of the podcast, and I know what we actually end up talking about. The one that I'm going to throw at you is... Ooh, there's a couple. What is your rich life?
My rich life?
Mm-hmm.
Like in terms of
in
just not having any worries?
Let me rephrase it. With where you sit right now, with the experiences you've had on this planet, what would the perfect life look like to you?
You know, I'm going to keep it simple and at home. The perfect life to me right now would be a house on Lake Travis with a 2024 Malibu M220 down on the dock and a Porsche 911 Turbo S in the garage. A very beautiful wife, everything paid off. Not having to worry about money. Just eliminate that type of stress out of your life for good. Raising 2 or 3 beautiful children. Being able to provide anything you needed to for them. But still, you know, providing some sort of discipline and not making them completely spoiled. Doing a good job at raising them, at least. And yeah, I think that would get rid of every negative thought in my head. Is that scenario right there?
What negative thoughts are in your head right now?
Just what ifs?
Give me one example.
Like, what if I don't make it?
What's the answer to that? What if you don't make it?
My answer to that is, what if I do make it? Like, I mean, everyone's gonna have these kind of thoughts. You just can't let them bog you down. You can't fall into that dark hole. Once you do, you go down. You go down that hole. You keep falling until it's too late, and by the time you pick yourself back up, you've probably made some emotional decisions that you regret and you wish you could go back on. And so I don't let myself get down at all anymore. I don't let negativity take a hold on me, because it's done it before, and I'll never let it happen again. So you just can't give in to those types of thoughts. Got to be positive, all right? Especially if you're my age or younger. Life's not over. Things can get better. You just have to have faith in yourself. Bet on yourself. Bet more.
What did you do today to get yourself one step closer to that goal?
I almost hit a PR, I guess. Almost hit a PR in the gym. I consider those wins, those little small things. I didn't have work today, so there's really nothing I could.
It's a more chill day.
Yeah,
hit the gym, hit the podcast.
Yeah, more of a chill day. Yeah, getting stronger. I'm kind of confused on my goals in the gym at the moment. I don't know if I want to cut. I don't know if I want to keep doing what I'm doing, but I'll figure it out. I just need to sit down for like 10 minutes and really think about it. That's all. I just have not done that.
Want to do it right now?
No, I think I want to cut, but I don't want to cut by too much. I may cut my calories by like 200 for my maintenance, and that's it. So I may lose like, if I'm doing it right, I may lose like half a pound a week, or maybe even a little less. It'll be at a slower pace, but I'd like to get down to around 155 by the time like June rolls around.
Where are you right now?
Probably around a little over 160, and probably around like 162, 161 without any food or water in my system right when I wake up. So, yeah, I mean, not a very long ways to go, but believe me, I got 5 pounds of fat to lose. It's there.
If you got 5, I got 20. Maybe not 20, but yeah, I don't know. Fat loss isn't a goal for mine right now. I'm pretty content with where my body's at, actually. I'm just maintaining right now. If I grew a little bit, that'd be cool. I have conceded to the fact I'll never have a six-pack, and I'm fine with that. I just like, I see what my friends go through who do have those, and I need to stress about other things.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never cut on purpose before. I did when I was doing the carnivore diet. I had no idea I was in a severe deficit, but you live and you learn. You go through lessons. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'll probably start that. Honestly, I'll probably start that in March. Probably start that on March 1st.
There you go.
So I'll have to change up a few things, but if I can continue to get stronger on key lifts and simultaneously lose a little bit of fat, that'll be a huge win. I'll probably do it. I'll probably cut for like 4 weeks at a time, do a refeed for a week, and then go back to 4 weeks, just so I don't like destroy my body and bog myself down. But we'll see. I've never done it before. It'll be some more experimentation, and I think that's what I'm scared of, because I know what I need to do to gain muscle mass while simultaneously putting on minimal fat, but I don't entirely know what I need to do to maintain muscle, or maybe even put on a couple pounds while losing fat, or cutting at least. So yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be a new thing for me.
Fitness. We like that topic around here.
Fitness, yeah.
Sutton South, this has been fun. I could keep throwing questions your way, but I want to respect the fact it is your Sunday night, essentially.
Yeah.
And for me, it's my Monday night, and I do also have work tomorrow. So I just want you to know that you are welcome back on this podcast. I hope you make a return appearance in the next 6 to 12 months. And yeah, man, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thank
Of course. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the episode. As I said earlier, if you liked it, give us some love on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next week for another episode. Bye, guys.